So no, the red
I
bars.
have something in my teeth.
Go. Let's see. Okay. Zoom and YouTube. Oh, and then it's going to do that thing where it repeats back the last thing I just said because for some reason I can't make it not do that. See? So no, the red
I have
bars.
something in my teeth.
There we are. And hello, everybody out there all across the planet who are tuning in right now. Welcome to Scripts Gone Wild. I am your host, Billy Ray Bruton. And tonight, it's basically the day Clay Keller has been waiting for his entire life. We're reading the script to his favorite film of all time, Broadcast News, as sort of a belated birthday present. So happy birthday, Clay.
Happy birthday, Clay.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Billy Ray. Yeah, I always love to get a present 3-4 months after my birthday. So this is
Hey,
this
that's
is
a
lovely.
blessing, man.
Yeah, we like to keep the birthdays going throughout the year so you feel appreciated all the year long.
You know what, Billy Ray? I appreciate that because as a very early January birthday, every single year in school, I missed the birthday celebration. I was like a summer kid, but I was in winter break. So I never had a cake or anything at school. It was always overlooked. So I'm gonna take solace in that this is making up for all of those years of childhood trauma.
But that said, it is not all about Clay tonight because we're also raising money for an awesome organization called the Actors Fund, which fosters stability and resiliency and provides a safety net for performing arts and entertainment professionals over their lifespan. And so you can donate to the Actors Fund. We hope you will throughout the read tonight. You can do it now. You can do it in the middle when we take a break and I remind you, and you can do it at the end when I remind you again. And if you stumble upon this read 3 weeks from now, which lots of folks do, you can still donate $1, $5, $1,000, whatever you see fit to donate. Please do let us know when you make the donation. Say that you're making it for Scripts Gone Wild. You can find the link in the description of the video on YouTube, and I'll be posting it in the chat throughout the night as well. So plenty of opportunities to make that donation. And that organization was chosen by our very special guest tonight, Mr. Marc Shaiman. Marc, thank you for being here. Marc, you play the piano? Wow.
Endlessly.
You learn something new every night. So obviously, you played a part in Broadcast News, both as a composer and in the film as well. And before we get into that, I feel like I need to refresh folks on what that scene looks like. So I'm going to show it to everybody right now. Or play. Can you see that, everybody, or just hear it?
Can't see anything.
Can't see anything?
Well,
Okay.
Yeah,
some things, but
Well, then you know what? We're just
can't hear anything either.
I'm going to share my screen as well. Video.
Careful,
boom.
careful. Sometimes that can really be dangerous too. I've learned.
hear your browsing history.
Okay. There we go. Let's
Do
see.
not share your screen.
Okay, so we're gonna do this, and here we go. Well, maybe I'm not gonna show it. Maybe I'm just gonna play it, but that's okay.
That's the news. And the strings take the melody.
Oh, yeah.
Now there's the counter melody. Big finish.
Run it again.
It won't stop.
Let's just run it throughout the whole night. We'll just play that nonstop.
Occasionally play that clip.
Finish.
So I want to start out, Marc. I'm just curious. How did you get involved with Broadcast News in a general sense?
Yeah, I wasn't the composer on the movie or even of that news theme. What happened is a casting director named Paula Harold was friends with a friend of mine named Glenn Roven, who plays my brother in that. In the original script, we're introduced as brothers. I wonder if that's the script you're actually reading from. But they cut that line out. But anyway, she said to Glenn, you know, I'm casting this movie, and there's a part that if you know someone who can also play and looks like you, who could pass as your brother, I really think you could get this part. And so Glenn called me, and Glenn and I had, we were both in New York working as musical directors. I was doing a lot of cabaret acts when I was working at Saturday Night Live. He was doing a lot of Broadway, and we were also very competitive. Now we're older and not so much. And as a matter of fact, Glenn died 3 years ago, so we're not competitive at all. But but he called me and said, "Would you want to audition for this thing?"
I feel like he beat you in dying, though.
Yeah, well, that's okay. That one I'm gonna let him take that.
Just wanted to point that one out. I don't know if anyone.
Oh my! So
That's what I'm just saying is that he beat you because he died first.
Right. Yeah.
yeah. Oh no, I accept defeat.
Got it.
So I don't remember where we taped the. I mean, what was that, like 1988? Did they even have cameras then? We must have. I think Paula actually came up to Saturday Night Live and Glenn came there and we just read the lines and she sent it off and we got the part. And it turns out that James L. Brooks decided he wanted to have a news theme ready while filming to use, which is kind of odd to me once I started working on movies, because you wouldn't necessarily play something live during the scene, but he wanted it to set a scene. So he set up meetings with different new writers, jingle writers. And this team came in, the guys who wrote that, and they so oversold themselves that while James L. Brooks was listening to them and watching them, he was like in his mind going, I got to write this into the movie. He didn't cast them, but he wanted this moment of two guys just ridiculously overselling this theme in the middle of work. And that's the story of that scene. And so then we just couldn't believe we got it.
I'm curious, did your work in broadcast news lead to your work on Albert Brooks' mother?
No, that just happened because I was just started scoring lots of movies. And that was due to my association with Scott Rudin. Ever heard of him? Read anything lately? But what it did do, definitely, I just got really lucky that right as I did that, I did start getting movie work, but like just a little. Big Business, I did a little music for Bette Midler. I was working with Bette Midler a lot. So I did a little something on Big Business, and then she brought me onto Beaches. And at the same time, from Saturday Night Live, Billy Crystal, there you go. Oh, that's a whole sad story I could tell you, but it's not about Big Business. When you do Big Business, have me back and I'll tell you that sad, long story. So I was doing Beaches as well with Bet, and When Harry Met Sally with Billy. And the fact that I was in broadcast news was like this phenomenal icebreaker, that I was just this very young, inexperienced person. But everyone kept saying, aren't you in broadcast news? And it just made every person I met and every meeting I had to go to had this nice little slide into it. So that was really wonderful also.
So if you play a composer in a movie, then it makes it easier for people to imagine you being a composer in real life. That's the lesson.
So who knew? I mean, I was thinking of other memories today. I remember when they filmed it. I don't know. Could you see that just now, or you only heard it?
We only heard it, yeah.
My hair is huge, like Patti LaBelle. Now I wish I had it, but I remember the hairdresser on the movie really spiked it out crazy with, I guess she thought that was who I should be. But I remember sort of almost crying, running into the bathroom going, I can't be on a movie screen with like this. So I was in the bathroom right before they said like, you're on. Let's just patting my hair down. So what's in the movie is my patted down version of what was quite something, like amazing. A chia pet.
I have a weird piece of Marc trivia to see if Marc can get, or anybody else here can get. But according to your IMDb, in which you're normally credited as an actor as either piano player or pianist, there is one film where you actually have a real human being's name. Do you know what film that is?
Mr. Saturday Night.
That's right, Mr. Saturday Night.
Nice. Name in it? Lucky Ginsburg or something like that.
Lucky Zinberg.
Lucky Zinberg.
That's right.
Yeah. I say, "What's the matter, buddy? Having a bad day?"
Clay, this is your favorite movie. We've got someone
is.
who's an integral part of it. Do you have any questions for Mark? This is your birthday, Clay.
But Billy Ray, you asked some fantastic questions. I'm just delighted. Thank you again for joining us, Mark. I think when we announced this a couple months ago, I just randomly tweeted at you, and it was so cool of you to join us and share those memories. I do just want to say, Ryan and I host a podcast, and just last night we were talking about beaches for quite a while. And Ryan was saying that he knows every single word to that soundtrack because his mom played it in the car nonstop when he was a kid. And then I think it's just a phenomenal coincidence that we have you here tonight, the music supervisor of that incredible soundtrack. I don't know. And then Ryan is maybe playing you in the read as well. It's
a very strange confluence of events that's happening tonight.
On Beaches, I was also in Beaches. At that time, I just ended up being in all these movies. And I used to, pardon me, you can tell me to shut up. If
No, go ahead.
My mother, whenever I was on TV, like playing on Regis, shows, playing for people, they always start with that, a big close-up of the piano player's fingers, and then it dissolves to the singer. And my mother would always go and say, "Mark, stop biting your nails. It looks horrible." So I had her voice in my head. When I knew in Beaches I was going to be playing piano, I went, "Oh my God, there's going to be that huge close-up on a movie screen." So I went out in the valley and I went to a nail salon, and I asked the lady, "Can you give me fake nails?" And she thought I was a drag queen. So she first started putting on, I said, no, I really just want male nails. And not only, and so when I say Cece at the end of that scene, everyone said I should go like this because I was so proud. But the moral of the story is that cured me of biting my nails after my whole life. I had them on, for a few weeks, couldn't possibly bite. And then when they fell off, I never would have thought of doing it again.
Wow.
That's great. Yeah, this is, like I said, this is my all-time favorite movie, and that is a incredibly funny scene. And you and Glenn are very, very funny in your performance. And I was at a thing on the Disney lot for Mary Poppins Returns a couple years ago, and I almost approached you to tell you how much I enjoyed your 45 seconds in broadcast news, but I chickened out. So I'm glad that you're here tonight, so I could tell you that in person.
And, the movie is so good. I also discovered when we went to the premiere, the movie is so good that there our scene came and there we were on screen in this scene. And then the movie was so good, like a minute after the scene, I was just totally back into the story of the movie. I forgot that I had just been in it, or even the excitement of I was in a movie. I just was right back with the story. That really kind of lets you know how good that movie is. Well, and also the fact that there isn't even like a shot in that movie of like a plane landing or, the front of a house at dusk. It's all dialogue. Yeah. There's not any fat. So the fact that he has us for this insane 45 seconds was crazy.
Well, and it's funny, just tangentially here, we're going to be doing a read, and this, I guess, is a surprise since we haven't announced it yet, but we're going to be doing a read in July of Hairspray, not your Hairspray, but the John Waters Hairspray.
Sure.
But I'm sure you have an affinity for that original film as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't have written a musical about it.
I certainly do. Any John Waters. Have you ever done? Please do Desperate Living.
Oh, I love Desperate Living so much.
Okay.
I would do the Mig Stoll scene of the wrong number and then yelling out the kids out the window. Oh my God.
Well, Mink Stoll is about to do our read of The Birdcage that we're doing in June.
Oh, wow.
She's playing the Diane Wiest role from Birdcage.
Oh, wow.
She's going to be spectacular. Yeah, for sure. So I'm one more question for you, Mark, before we let you go and actually get some sleep. So given how expansive your film, this is one of just those stupid fanboy questions, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Given sort of the expansive filmography that you have, what is the project that is nearest and dearest to your heart?
Well, I would say Hairspray, but it's Hairspray on Broadway was like the greatest moment of my life. And as far as movies, then it would, up until Mary Poppins Returns, I might say South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. That was certainly the greatest premiere. The premiere of South Park Big Learn Uncut was at Grauman's Chinese, and the reaction was so huge. People like stamping their feet and the shaking that I said, I'll never watch this movie again. And I never have. I've never watched it again because I want that experience. But then Mary Poppins Returns. You know, I grew up, Mary Poppins was everything. And the fact that I got that movie and got to do it. I can't.
Oh.
Bravo.
Yeah. Well, what do you have coming up next? Do you have anything in that's getting released soon?
I'm working on something that for the first time in my life or career, I had to sign a whatchamacallit,
NDA.
NDA.
Ooh.
I always want to say DNR, like do not resuscitate. But, yeah. So it's I'm not
Okay.
allowed to say, but it's for like a very big thing in movies and television right now.
Exciting.
I'm just going to assume that it is a movie called Mrs. Saturday Night about Billy Crystal's daughter.
You'd be wrong. Terribly wrong.
Damn.
What are you going to play tonight?
I'm playing the narrator. I read the stage direction with my thick Southern drawl.
And who gets to do all those great Albert Brooks lines?
That'd be me. I'm
Very
doing
good.
that. I think it's going to be fantastic. I've been preparing for this my whole life, so this is going to be a big moment for me.
A lot of alliteration from anxious anchors. Yeah.
Placed in
Powerful position.
powerful position.
Dave's the man for the job.
My plan is to sweat for real because I am a method actor. So,
Well, a big round of applause for Marc. Marc, thank you so much for joining us. It was a real treat. And
Thank
I
you for
hope we
asking.
don't massacre this script too bad in your name.
Have a great time.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having
thank
me.
you.
Thank you, Marc. Thank you, Marc.
Bye.
Bye, Marc.
Bye.
Bye, Samuel.
Well, that was fabulous. That made my year.
Awesome.
So,
Cool.
Billy
So-
Ray, you have to convince Marc to do a part in one of these at some point.
I know. We have to do them earlier then because
Yeah, I
it's in
think-
New York time.
2 p.m. start. That should be
Yeah,
fun.
do a special
Matinee.
So that was awesome. Let me introduce our cast. We've got Clarke Wolfe.
Hello.
We've got Joey Cramer in costume and ready to go. We've got Nwadiwe.
Yay.
Oh, he's cool. That's a cool guy.
Right. For the first time ever, Alonso Duralde.
Yay, Alonso.
Kimmy Shields. Ava Ceja.
Eva.
Rico Anderson.
Yay.
Keller, the birthday boy, 4 months removed. Diamond Dave Schilling.
Yes.
Whoa.
Diamond Drea Clarke. Currently the reader that we have utilized the most, who has supplanted Rico, Aaron LaPlante. Rico lost his title.
Wait, by how much?
You're down by 1 after this one. You're down by 1.
All right.
We got Sasha
Go for the
Kerbel.
kneecaps.
Sasha Kerbel. And Ryan Marker? I don't know.
Wow.
Ryan's not a liar. I don't know why I said that.
I think my nickname was enough. No more nicknames.
No more nicknames.
Cut the nicknames. We're fine.
So the way Scripts Gone Wild works is it is a drinking game. If any of our readers flub a line, miss a cue, do anything that we can construe as a mistake, they have to take a drink. That is their own personal punishment. We choose, or should I say our Twitter audience chooses, what we call social words. These are words that whenever they are read aloud by the readers, everyone takes a drink. It doesn't count if I read it in the stage direction. It only counts if one of our readers read it in the dialogue. And tonight, we've decided to only do one word since it is used frequently in the script, and that word is, shocker, news. But we are also implementing something that we only do occasionally, and it is a rule that anytime a character takes a drink in the script, so if I read, XYZ drinks a whole bottle of schnapps, which I don't think happens in broadcast news, everybody would, of course, then drink a whole bottle of schnapps. That's not really. You have to take a drink. You just take a drink. And I'll remind you as we go through. We also have a finish your drink line, which is chosen by our Patreon subscribers. This is a line that whenever we get to it in the script, everybody finishes whatever drink is in their hand, whether it is a couple of sips or a fresh pour. We always hope that it's going to be a fresh pour. And them's the rules. Does anyone have any questions?
Wait, did I miss it or did you say what the line is?
Yeah, what's the line?
Oh, I didn't even say. I guess I got a drink.
No, it hasn't started yet. You're fine.
The line is,
I don't know.
how do you like that? I buried the lead.
Okay.
That is the line. And you'll be reminded when we get to it. Trust me.
I get to say it.
Yes.
Dave gets to say it.
And
at the end of the best monologue ever written.
Truly incredible writing.
Yes. So that's it. That's the rules. And
I do want to point out, Billy Ray, this is an early version of the script that is in some places very different than the final movie. So if things pop up, viewers, that you're like, wait, what the hell? That's what the explanation is. But you can see a lot of those on the Blu-ray. The Criterion Blu-ray contains filmed versions of many of the scenes you will not recognize as we do the script.
Fun.
So, hot tip there.
Director's cut.
Good to me.
Yeah. Thank you, Clay. That is important to note. Are we ready?
Ready.
Okay. Then now it's time to dive in to broadcast news, written by James L. Brooks. Fade in, exterior, city street. A restaurant supply truck is curbside near a small restaurant. Gerald Grunick, 41, is closing the back door of his truck, feeling good about the world, a common state for him. He moves towards the cab of the truck and gets inside as we go to Kansas City, Missouri, 1963. As he sits down, beaming over his recent good fortune, now we reveal his 12-year-old son, Tom, seated quietly beside him. He seems a bit down, and Gerald glances at him.
I don't know. A recent Saturday I've sold more. You didn't think I'd sell that health restaurant, did you?
No. Not even you.
Why so glum?
I don't know.
Go ahead.
No, nothing. Well, I've got a problem, I guess.
Well, were you bothered by those waitresses making a fuss?
No, but honest, what are you supposed to say when they keep talking about your looks? I don't even know what they mean, beat them off with a stick.
You know, Tom, I feel a little proud when people comment on your looks. Maybe you should feel that way.
Proud? I'm just embarrassed that I like when they say those things.
As long as that's your only problem,
It's not. I got my report card. 3 C's, 2 D's, and an incomplete.
Oh my. I see you studying so hard, Tom. What do you think the problem is?
I just have to try harder. I don't know. I will. Thanks, Dad. This talk helped. Will you sign it, please?
Would it help if I got you a tutor?
That would be great. Better help. What can you do with yourself if all you do is look good?
Future Network Anchorman. Boston, Massachusetts, 1965. Aaron Altman, looking almost preposterously young in his graduation gown, is delivering his valedictory. He is a rare breed, a battle-scarred innocent.
And finally, to the teachers of Whitman High School, I don't have the words to express my gratitude, which may have more to say about the quality of the English department here than my own limitations. That was, of course, not meant to be taken seriously. A personal note. I am frequently asked what the special difficulties are in being graduated from high school 2 months shy of my 15th birthday. I sometimes think it was the difficulties themselves which enabled me to do it. If I'd been appreciated or even tolerated, I wouldn't have been in such a hurry to graduate. I hope the next student who comes along and is able to excel isn't made to feel so much an outcast. But I'm looking forward to college. This is the happiest day I've had in a long time. I thank you, and I forgive you.
I'm always so confused by Aaron. Is he brave and earnest or just a conceited little dickhead?
Future Network News reporter. As Aaron walks to his seat past 3 full-grown, tough-looking, semi-literate high school graduates.
Later, Aaron.
In the schoolyard, clusters of graduates at the fence bordering the sunken schoolyard, looking down as the tough calf and gowners seem earlier cuff Aaron around. Aaron feeling from a blow, his lip bleeding, his teeth covered with blood as he gets to his feet. He is livid, something primal triggered by this brutality.
Go ahead, Stephen. Take your last licks. But this will heal. What I am going to say to you will scar you forever. Ready? Here it is.
He dodges as they come after him.
You'll never make more than $19,000 a year.
They twist his arm and grip him.
Okay, take this. You'll never leave South Boston, and I'm gonna see the whole damn world. You'll never know the pleasure of writing a graceful sentence or having an original thought. Think about it.
He's punched in the stomach and sinks to the ground as the young toughs walk off. Aaron catches a phrase of the conversation.
$19,000. Not bad.
Atlanta, Georgia, 1968. Jane Craig, 10 years old, is in her room typing. Above the desk where she works in a bulletin board with letters and pictures tacked to each one. Her desk has several file racks which contain bulging but neat stacks of airmail envelopes. A roll of stamps and a dispenser is to one side, and Jane types very well in the glare of her desk lamp.
Dear Felazia, it's truly amazing to me that we live in a world apart, and yet
Drink.
Drake!
Boo.
And yet have the same favorite music. I loved the picture you sent and have it up on my bulletin board. You're growing so much faster than I am that I am starting to get jealous. I read in newspapers about the Italian strike and riots in Milan. I hope you weren't...
Honey?
Ah! Oh God, Daddy, don't ever scare me like that. Please.
Future network news producer. Her father is himself taken aback with the shock of her reaction, falling back towards the door.
Jane, for God's sake. Look, it's time for you to go to sleep.
I just have 2 more pen pals and then I'm done.
You don't have to finish tonight.
No. This way, the rotation stays the same.
Finish quickly. I don't want you getting obsessive about these things. Good night.
As Jane moves to a room at the other end of the hall, a family room where her father reads the latest Rolling Stone of the mid-60s, Hunter Thompson, The New Journalism, the slim Jan Winter. Jane, not Jan. Oh, there we go. Jane bursts into the room.
Dad, you want me to choose my words so carefully, and then you just throw a word like obsessive at me. Now, unless I'm wrong, and please correct me if I am, obsession is practically a psychiatric term concerning people who don't have anything else but the object of their obsession, who can't stop and do anything else. Well, here I am stopping to tell you this, okay? So would you please try and be a little more precise instead of calling a person something like obsessive?
She advances furiously on her father, since even this strung out, even with 2 additional pen pal letters to get off, she had enough sense of duty to kiss him goodnight before storming from the room. She exits the room into black. Main titles. Small Midwestern city. Emerging from the blackness, Jane Craig, now a 28-year-old woman, a long speed walker wearing a jacket to which reflecting stripes have been glued, the kind of gear only possessed by someone who runs it off hours. The jacket itself is a wish-I-had-it souvenir from some important news assignment, the sort of a treasure you love about all else, yet never mention. Above all else, not about. They got it wrong in the script, but I should have known better.
So you drank.
There are typos in this script, so.
James L. Brooks, you have to drink wherever you are.
She stops running as she feeds quarters into the first of a phalanx of newspaper machines, getting 7 different papers before moving on. As she enters from the bathroom, having showered and dressed now, the sun is just rising. She sits next to her phone. The Filofax book is almost an additional character, a crucial hand-fashioned tool of Jane's trade. She flicks at a page, takes down a typewritten sheet, scotch tape to it, showing the room number of her crew and reporter. She dials.
Hi, it's me.
Cameraman, his equipment is evidenced through essentially asleep, holding his bedmate's hand as he listens to Jane.
It's 30 minutes before you have to meet me in the lobby. Nudge your wife. There's probably no time to eat, but there's a cafeteria at the bus depot once we get there. I love working with you two. It saves me a call.
Duplicate motel room. Aaron is switching his TV from station to station, monitoring the early morning news, and his phone rings.
Hi, turn on your TV. Good Morning America, the morning news, and today are all about to talk to Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I think he's live on at least 2 of them.
Drink.
At 6 o'clock on the Wake Up News, they've used the wrong missile graphic.
Drink.
Now listen, Arnold just said that he's been making $3 million a movie now, but he's not ever gonna change. He's still the same person he was making $2 million a movie. He feels no different. He also bought a brand new condo with Maria. They're gonna furnish tastefully.
You said no accents, Dave.
I lied.
A half hour in the lobby.
Okay, I'll see you in the lobby.
She hangs up, takes the phone off the hook, and lays it on top of the bed for a moment's solitude. She sits stiffly, palms on top of her legs. It looks like someone with unusually good posture waiting for something, and now we begin to see the first signs redden, and she begins to cry. Now she sobs, then miraculously shakes it off, and it exits quickly to the bathroom. This crying episode is clearly part of her morning routine. The bus station. Jane standing behind her husband-wife, camera sound team, as they train their attention on Aaron, who is getting ready to do a stand-up. There is a derelict off to one side. Aaron holds his microphone at the ready.
Ready.
Your hair is a little funny.
It's an ethnic curl. I can't do anything about it.
In front of a little, it's a bit. You want a mirror?
No, don't worry about it. Let's just do this.
Okay.
In other times, for other purposes, there might be a band and bunting here at the bus depot for J.D. Singer's return from war.
Sorry, but look how wonderful his face is.
Okay, you mean use him. That's nice. Okay.
I'll put him in the low corner of the frame. Good.
In other times, with other purposes, there might be a band and bunting here at the bus depot for J.D. Singer's return from war. Last week, he was decorated by a president for heroism in a war. But it was the Civil War in Angola, and he was in it for the money. Thanks.
Drop that mic. Gate area. Jane in the distance on the phone. Aaron and crew shooting as the bus pulls up, hisses to a stop, and tired, rumpled passengers exit. J.D. Singer, strong, 9'6".
9'6".
Yeah. The 9'6" tall J.D. Singer emerges and is displeased to have his head lopped off by anything because he's 9 foot tall. He reacts with all the grace of a short mercenary.
Go away.
Yeah, we're in a weird world here.
Go away.
JD gets his luggage from the compartment under the bus and the crew shooting.
Just a few questions.
No.
We came from Washington.
Move away from me.
How long has it been since you've been home?
Fucks, snot, fucky. You want to use that?
It depends on how big a news day it is.
Drink.
JD.
Yep.
News?
JD, I'm Jane Craig. I spoke to you in Angola. I gave you some sugarless gum and handy wipes.
Jane's room. Jane sitting next to Aaron making detailed timing notes as she screens the material shot that day on a portable monitor unit.
Where's where I asked him about being scared? You should work on your speech.
No, it makes me nervous to think about it. Let's do this.
All this business of war, do you get scared?
Oh, sorry. I'm a little freaked out right now, though, about seeing my father.
I love that turn away.
Auditorium. Jane is at the lectern. In the darkened auditorium as two large monitors display some taped news pieces she has assembled. On the lectern is a sign telling us we are at the Conference of Local Television News Broadcasters.
There's a point I'm trying to make about these pieces coming up.
A woman's outline blackened out from behind and her voice electrically disguised.
I don't think any client of mine makes less than $50,000 a year, which means they can afford the best, and you're damn right I feel good that includes me.
Another angle, another woman, her voice disguised.
No, you'd be surprised at who a working girl needs. I've been a working girl for what, over a year anyway? And that must be 1,000 men. And I don't think there is an age or type that hasn't been in there. Policeman, doctor, lawyer, or television reporter.
Another woman.
I'm 17 now, and I've been working the streets for 2 years. And I guess, to be honest, I stopped thinking of it as temporary.
The lights come up on the room. The two screens go black. There is general applause, and Jane blinks nervously.
Please, don't applaud.
Sitting in groups of three, news team from around the country, remarkably similar in comparison. A great-looking woman, good-looking man, either young or attractively avuncular, and a black or Hispanic. They still applaud, not yet having grasped the sincerity of Jane's plea, which she presses with more urgency.
Please don't. I gathered these pieces as an example of what's wrong with local television news. News.
News, drink.
Right.
The The excerpts from the 3 separate series on prostitution were simultaneously broadcast by all stations in one city during sweeps week. By what bend of either or suspension of duty is that broadcast news?
She pauses half a beat for possible applause. Hearing none, she continues.
Drink.
Right.
News.
News.
The legacy of Edward R. Murrow, Eric Severant, William, all these names, Shearer, I'm sorry, I don't
Shirer.
know. David Brinkley and Walter Cronkite is being squandered in a desperate popularity contest. Our profession is in danger.
They don't like her.
Yesterday's compliment has somehow managed to become today's kiss of death. To be considered a serious journalist is no longer flattering. It presents the risk of being labeled ponderous or, worse yet, elitist, right?
People be bored as shit.
All of you know what I'm talking about. We are trying to act together than we are. Nope, we're all trying to act together than we are. I don't know.
Right.
But we care. So we're all secretly terrified, aren't we?
She don't know how to quit.
We are being increasingly influenced by the star system. The network anchormen are so powerful, they compromise our last best hope. The current group is clearly qualified, tied still to our best traditions, but who follows these men?
We move to Tom Grunick, seated with other members of his news team, a young blonde woman whose hand is resting on his inner leg, a good-looking Hispanic. Tom feels a growing excitement. Jane is not just a speaker, she seems a savior.
Wow.
Oh, I've known so many women like that. They don't like their looks, so they're angry.
Fumbling with her cards, sunk but gamer than she would wish.
You know, I was going to talk about other trends, but the magazine shows news at profit, influence of
Jeez.
Frank? Oh, yeah.
influence of entertainment tonight, the danger, the hope, the dream, the question. Oh, I was going to show you a tape, a story that was carried by all networks on the same night. The same night. Not one network noted a major policy change in SALT II nuclear disarmament talks. Here's what they ran instead. Go ahead. Yeah, show the tape.
Monitors show the Japanese Domino Championships as broadcast by all networks in the spring of '85. It is quite spectacular. The dominoes falling into one another, provoking waves, crossing tiny bridges, setting off little fireworks. Jane's audience applauds louder and squealing with delight. Jane, between the monitors, begins to speak loudly over the audience.
What? I know it's good film. I know it's fun. I like fun. It's, you know, it's just not news.
Drink.
That's right.
Well, you're all lucky you love it because you're going to get a lot more just like it.
Good. Jane sitting rocked in a momentary catatonia by the event, dazed as an animal stung by a tranquilizer dart. She takes some irregular breaths, waiting for a return to normal life. Tom, the last person remaining in the room, approaches her, totally unaware of his presence, even when he casually mounts the stage with an athletic leap. It takes courage for Tom to fully intrude himself, which he now does.
Hello.
Earnest, nervous, handsome, William Hurt.
Hi.
I just wanted to tell you how great you were. My name's Tom Grunick.
Thank you. They hated me. I don't hate them.
Well, they say if you can reach even one person, it means something, and you did that.
Would you like to have dinner with me?
Hotel restaurant. Jane arrives at the maitre d' stand. She has attempted to dress up to the extent that packing for a short day trip allows. She looks for Tom. Tom rises from a table and is immediately at her side.
Hi. I was worried I was early.
I was a lot earlier. I kept thinking what a great break it was for me to get to see you tonight. You know, more than a great break. Maybe it's just what I needed. That's when I needed it. God, angel of mercy, godsend, lifesaver, what?
I like Godsend.
I haven't been in news that long. I've been looking for, I've just been looking for the right person to talk to. I have about 2,000 questions for you. It's possible now's not the right time.
If we could just eat first.
Totally understood. Totally wrong of me to talk shop after the day you've had. I'm totally sorry.
No. I if I could just have a roll, I'd be okay.
She eats that roll.
Thank you.
Convention hotel. As they walk along, dumping occasionally and self-conscious. Dumping? Occasionally and self-consciously.
Bumping, I think.
Okay, yeah. Because if they're dumping, this is a different kind of movie. Jane is feeling a version of being turned on. That is, a little adrift and temporarily free of obligations. She is open to making a memorable mistake.
Another thing I can't stand. Wait, is this dull?
No.
Okay. Another thing I can't stand is when White House reporters bullshit with each other after a briefing, and then one of them has a theory, and then the other quotes it as his story as White House sources say.
That actually goes on?
Oh, yes. My room is down here. I'm not tired. Do you want to keep talking?
Yes, sure.
Her room, a small, good room. Her working paraphernalia very much in evidence. The quality briefcase, the reams of well-organized notes, the thick contact book. Jane is sitting on the bed, Tom not far away in the room's only chair. One lamp is on and it serves to place Jane in the shadows and cast Tom in an enormously flattering light. Music comes from a miniature portable stereo system.
Come on. Even I'm not that hard on myself.
No, I really got this job on a fluke, and wait till you hear where it ends up.
I was doing sports at the station.
Wait, hold on.
This is Tom line.
This has got to be my line. This is a typo. Yeah. I was doing sports at the station. The newspaper ran this untrue story that I was leaving, and they got all these tons of protest mail. So they made me anchor.
So great, right?
Except I'm no good at what I'm being a success at.
How are you at back rubs?
Jane shifts her position so that her back is to Tom. He is immobilized by the sudden turn, and Jane waits just a bit longer than it would take a man to run from the chair to her side before experiencing the ghost-like clutch of rejection. She moves briskly past the moment, grabbing a good night chocolate from the pillow and munching it as she returns to his agenda.
It's sort of normal the way you feel. In graduate school, everyone thought the only mistake the admissions committee made was letting them in.
He moves to the bed.
Listen to me. You keep thinking I'm somebody who lacks confidence. That's not it. I know I can talk well enough and I'm not bad at making contact with people, but I don't like the feeling that I'm pretending to be a reporter. And half the time, I don't really get the news I'm talking about. Right. It isn't that I'm down on myself. Trust me, I stink.
No, I trust you.
I didn't even really have the chance to get good at sports. I wasn't bad. I thought I was starting to do interesting features, but hockey is big at the station. And
what about the obvious remedy? Just reversing things. Maybe getting a job on a newspaper.
I don't write. But that didn't stop me from sending out audition tapes to bigger stations and the networks.
Well, okay, come on. It is your life. Nobody is trying. Nope.
Drake!
Nobody is tying you to the fast track. Did you go to college?
1 year. Almost 1 year.
So you're not well educated and you have almost no experience and you can't write.
And I'm making a fortune.
It's hard for me to advise you since you personify something that I truly think is dangerous.
Uh-huh.
I agree with you. You're not qualified. So just get qualified. You can insist on being better prepared. You don't have to just leave it as is. I don't write. I'm not schooled. I don't understand the news I'm reading, but at least I'm upset about it, folks.
Wow.
News.
This was a mistake. Oh,
right.
This was a mistake.
Just what do you want from me anyway? Permission to be a fake? Stop whining and do something about it. Well, okay, but you don't have to start right now.
I hated the way you talked to me just now. And it wasn't just because you were right.
Before we move on, I took a poll on the YouTube chat and it was decided that Rico needs to take a random drink.
The hell's in the chat?
As per usual.
Who are these jackals?
Jane's Hotel night. She's on the phone.
No, it wasn't just the speech. The same thing happened with this guy. I have passed some line someplace. I'm beginning to repel people I'm trying to seduce.
Aaron's apartment.
He must have been great looking, right?
Why do you say that?
Because nobody invites a bad-looking idiot to their bedroom. Okay, let's do me.
Sure.
Okay, I feel like I'm slipping, but do people who are actually slipping feel that way, or is it always the really good people who are moving up who invariably think they're slipping because their standards are so high?
This conversation is not worthy of you.
I'd give anything if that were true.
Good night.
Wouldn't this be a great world if insecurity and desperation made us more attractive? If needy were a turn on?
Call if you get weird.
She hangs up, pulls back the bedspread on the double bed. On the other half are newspapers, schedules, tapes. She doesn't clear them off so that she is literally sleeping with her work, and the phone rings.
I was just thinking it was the shortest phone conversation we ever had.
I never told you the reason I was telling you all of that for.
Hey.
Those audition tapes I sent out? I've been hired by your network for the Washington Bureau, so I'll probably see you at work. Sorry.
What?
Clay, this is the first time in the history of these reads I've ever done this, but can you turn your mic level down a little?
Down a little, yeah.
Down a little. It's a little hot. Hot mic. Whew. Washington, D.C. street, morning. Jane and Aaron walking to work, agitated.
They didn't hire Peter Stiller from the Times, and he had a great audition tape.
You want to start going over who they could have gotten? They can't take on people like this for network news. For God's sake, what's going on?
Tom arrives for his first day at work. Ernie Merriman's office. Ernie Merriman is the network's Washington bureau chief. He is in his early 60s, has worked for the network about 40 years, part of the golden age, a family man, an honorable man, a good guy. Right now, he is welcoming Tom to the network, thereby good-naturedly helping with the destruction of all that holds dear, as he hands Tom his credentials.
Any particular area you feel strongest in?
To be honest, I was best at anchor.
Why don't you take a few days observing the system? Then we'll put you on a general assignment.
Editing room, 2 small TV monitors, a smallish room. Jane goes over her timing notes, which correspond to the time code supered on the monitors. Bobby, an extraordinarily silent man, is doing James' bidding. On the monitor, we see the mercenary piece, which Jane is editing against a tightening deadline, and the phone rings periodically. Jane conducting abrupt conversations with continuing to edit. The pressure is palpable to begin with, but builds and builds, almost like a family fight getting out of hand and threatening to bend lies. That through it all, Jane remarkably stays calm. Her focus is amazing. Her command, sexy.
Go back to 316, Bobby. The soundbite in the cab, it starts, I don't know how I'll feel.
We could...
Please, Bobby, we're pushing.
As Bobby expertly reverses the tape, Tom's face appears in the glass doorway, and then he enters the already crowded room. Jay's eyes click to him briefly. She makes not a move to welcome him. He pauses, but is committed and tries to find a piece for himself against the wall.
They said I could observe the... They said it'd be okay if...
We're working here, okay? You can stand over in the Play back that last line.
He said something about...
Let me hear it.
Bobby taking the sharp commands with ever-increasing yet still repressed resentment. The assistant director, Blair Litton, enters the editing room. She's about 26, and every night since she got her job as assistant director, she's been the first to crack under pressure.
We'll need it in 10 minutes. We're putting it directly into...
Jane holds up a finger of warning to Blair as she picks up a ringing phone and talks to Bobby at the same time.
Craig, just a second. Let me hear it.
Tom, wedged into an uncomfortable position between 2 tape racks, he's wide-eyed at the circus of tension and fear. His eyes dart around constantly, trying to take in as much as he can, always returning with wonder to focus on Jane.
It's been a long time since I've seen my folks and all, but I don't expect any big deal homecoming.
Stop there. I want to shoot a picture from a book I have in the office.
You don't have time, not a chance.
I'll be right down. The right's tight. It's right tight.
I've got to tell Ernie because there isn't enough time.
Yes, there is.
Blair leaves as Jane gathers up her notes and she charges out, leaving Tom awkwardly alone with Bobby.
I'm Tom Grunick. I started on general assignment today.
I don't think she's gonna make it.
Bureau newsroom. Aaron is having a theoretical discussion with Ernie and Jennifer Mack, a correspondent in her early 40s, a pioneer beauty in news. She is well-schooled, bred, trained, and known. George Wayne, a black correspondent in his 40s, and Martin Klein, formerly with the Johnson administration, State Department, correspond for the network. And it's Weld, not Wayne. That's a typo.
Okay, what about this one? Here's a tough ethical one. Would you tell a source that you loved them just to get some information?
Yes.
Yes.
Me too.
Sure.
Jennifer didn't even know there was an alternative. All right, here's one. They allow us to have cameras at an execution in Florida. Do you broadcast tape of the guy in the chair when they turn on the voltage?
Sure.
Why not?
Absolutely.
You bet.
Nothing like wrestling with a moral dilemma, is there?
Blair enters.
Excuse me, Ernie. We're several minutes to air, and Jane's shooting an insert still for tonight's piece.
She knows how much time she has.
Okay, I just wanted to let you know.
What is she shooting?
Norman Rockwell's Homecoming.
Oh, that's nice. We'll need some new lines.
Editing room. Jane's up against it now, but still seemingly calm. Tom, watching, keeps on glancing at the clock, fascinated and impressed.
Okay, Bobby, just a 2-second dissolve to the Rockwell.
Should I?
Just a 2-second dissolve.
Oh, Jesus, we have 3 minutes. Why do you do this to me? Is it because I won an award?
Recording booth, where Aaron is writing his last line on a folded over piece of paper as he gets ready to record. He times it with a stopwatch.
Norman Rockwell's enduring portrait of a homecoming. The return of a fighting man has always been one of the more moving ceremonies of war. Tearful women, proud men, excited children. But J.D. Singer was right. His homecoming was no big deal.
We have 1.5 minutes. It's my responsibility to tell them we won't be ready.
We'll be ready.
In 84 seconds?
Sweeping from 28 minutes to 84 seconds from deadline, Aaron walks in and Jane looks up.
9 seconds.
11 and a half.
Oh, God. Back it, Bobby. Bobby?
You're saying, oh, God, they are going to go up and the screen will be black. They're going to go to black because we're not there. How about careers, huh? How about careers? Oh, we're not going to make it.
Bobby makes a small bobble, Jane giving the merest evidence of the strain, scratching her face repeatedly.
Whoops.
Whoops? Whoops! No, please. Oh, no. No.
Shit.
Sorry, I was enjoying Dave's performance.
Me too.
You're almost there. You can do it.
27 seconds left. Bobby hands the tape to Blair.
Ready.
Blair hikes up her skirt and takes off. Our chase scene as Blair soars through the newsroom, leaping a chair smoothly, smashing her legs against the table in full flight, the adrenaline deadening the pain. She arrives at a waiting elevator, uses a key dangling from her neck to unlock it, jumps nervously during the ride, and now, in full extended flight, barrels down the long corridor, headed to the control room where she has arrived, slamming the tape into a technician's hand, even as it is introduced on the air. Newsroom. Aaron, Jane, and the others looking at the end of the piece on the air. Tom in the background as Blair enters, relaxed, almost jaunty.
Oh, I was a little nervous there for a minute.
Oh, come on. Tell us another.
The end of the piece, the Rockwell painting giving way to the mercenary's actual homecoming, which matches the portrait. The irony works nicely. The network Aberman comes up for the close. Bill Rorish, 50 years old and able to flutter much younger pulses. He is able and experienced, a reporter who has become a journalistic king.
Bill Rorish, thank you. Good night.
Oh, look at that smile. Oh, that was so good. Oh, my Bill smiled. He liked it.
He loved it. Big smile.
He gives Jane a congratulatory sock in the shoulder, which she returns.
I haven't seen Bill smile like that in weeks. Ernie, you missed his clothes. He smiled. Thank you. Good night.
I saw the smile. Good piece.
I'm going to go look at it again.
They leave. Aaron waving to Tom, who's in the background, and the others leave, and Tom approaches Jane.
I'm sorry if I was in the way. It was totally impressive. A great piece.
You weren't. Thanks. How does it feel being here?
I can't believe I'm really here. No kidding. If you're through work now.
No. Aaron and I go to Central America on Wednesday, so I'm cramming.
I thought you were incredible in there. I know how much I have to learn, and I'd really a lot appreciate it if
Really a lot appreciate it.
you make me nervous. Anyway, if I can pick your brain.
I can't help you. Sorry. I'm not here to teach remedial reporting.
And it has nothing to do with the fact that I left your room instead of staying there?
Please. You're going to have to understand something. This isn't personal.
Central American jungle, as Aaron, Jane, and their crew march along with a Contra squad deep in their own conversation. Except for the den of tropical birds, they seem almost like a cranky married couple on their way to work.
I didn't sleep. They're giving me less and less airtime. They don't think I'm at all anchor material.
If we don't get to their camp soon, we won't be able to tape the supplies coming in.
Last time Paul was sick, they gave Connie the weekend news instead of me.
News?
Mm-hmm.
You spend too much time, much too much, worrying about that crap. Oh, good.
They've entered a clearing where supplies have been dropped. The guerrillas already tearing apart boxes with army boots inside. A guerrilla soldier rubbing his shoeless foot. A pair of new boots sit alongside him. James' cameraman prepares to shoot, saying in Spanish, then English.
Put on the boot.
Stop. We are not here to stage the news. Wait and see what he does. News. Sir, you do whatever you want. It's your choice.
By now, there is a fair-sized cluster of armed men, as well as the news team, staring at the gorilla, who is at a loss as what is expected. He looks to Jane, who can offer no help, save her own determination not to interfere. Finally, he puts on the boot.
Okay.
He shoots the scene. Hey, Adams Hotel. Tom in shirt and tie is on the phone, and this is a big day.
Okay, I'll meet the crew there then. Could you give me that address again? Great. Yes, it's going to be good to finally be getting to work. Okay, that's 17204. 17204. Okay, yeah, thanks.
As Tom gets concierge directions in the lobby.
It's only 10 minutes if you prefer to walk. I'll look for you on the news tonight.
Tom has a... Oh, yeah, more news. Good job. Tom has a real sense of the moment, of having arrived. The strange bubble of pleasure rises to the surface as he walks off to cover his first story. He laughs out loud, loving his lot. In the jungle again, Jane is there with her crew while Aaron talks in rapid Spanish to the guerrilla leaders.
Are you guys kidding, or do you really think you'll run into something? I mean, do you feel that every time and it never happens? Or is it the first time it felt that way and it's going to happen? I mean, how bad can it be? Are you nervous? What's the chances on a scale of 1 to 10 that we're going to be in a war within the next few hours? Really?
He starts to walk towards Jane. One of the men he was talking with calling after him with an added thought.
Thanks. You speak English very well, too. Great news. He says they've been engaging the Sandinistas pretty regularly and that he'd be really surprised if we didn't take fire tonight. Look at her. If anything happens to me, tell every woman I've ever dated I was talking about them at the end. That way they'll have to reevaluate me.
Jane laughs out loud, attracting the gorilla's attention, and Aaron repeats his speech in Spanish. The gorillas laugh. Aaron and Jane in line behind the gorillas, and they hear a shot. The head of the patrol gestures, deploying his men. Aaron grabs Jane and heads for some cover to the left. As they run, more shots. Jane's in work mode. As soon as they settle,
let's tape.
Much too dark. Black.
That's okay.
Aaron's barely discernible as they start taping. He is breathless with the nervousness of the nearby gunfire.
The first shots were fired not 30 seconds ago. The Contras feel they must be outnumbered. This is so small a unit. That's a given. Still, they hold their ground despite the fact that their weapons have been acting up, misfiring or jamming. A new shipment of rifles is expected tomorrow. All they got today were the shoes.
Bang, bang, bang!
Okay. Great line at the end.
Did you shoot their boots?
Of course.
We can cut back at the end.
To the pan of the supply boxes.
Can you believe it? I just risked my life for a network that tests my face with focus groups.
Government building. Tom, squashed in amidst the small mob of reporters behind a police line. He hears a reporter next to him say,
I think he's coming out now.
Right. They say he's coming out now. Is that him?
Yes.
The same model we've seen James use as Tom's black book, a list of questions written in big color highlighted letters. As he looks down to study them, everyone else moves suddenly off. The mass of journalists and technicians shouting questions. Will you dispatch troops? After the ambassador they've been awaiting, clumping on his limb and then being shaken by the movement of the vehicle. Tom standing alone and forlorn as his crew trots back.
What's wrong?
I had a lot of questions here. I missed the story.
Don't worry. It's okay. I'm sorry. Am I reading? Yeah, sorry.
Hey, him. Drink.
That's a drink.
What's wrong?
I had a lot of questions here. I missed the story.
I had to do it different because he acted a certain way. I had to act a different way. Don't worry, it's okay. I've got a piece to his face, of his face.
Oh, that's a drink, Rico.
Damn it.
Gorilla's camp. Jane is standing, talking to her crew, others asleep, a drowsy morning after feeling.
Are you all packed and ready?
The stuff in the dark is not good. Nobody wants news lit like that.
Will you just get packed?
Washington control room. What? Oh, news. Yep.
Oh, news. Yeah.
News. Yeah.
Washington control room. Jennifer, Jane, Aaron, Blair watch the intro to the Central American piece. Tom stands in the background. There are over a dozen monitors, including one which is constantly on the anchorman, Bill Rorish. Bill Rorish on camera, an insert behind showing Aaron in blackness planted into a Central American map bordered by rifles. A separate monitor shows the insert alone.
A firefight along the Nicaraguan border in 1 minute.
We hear Aaron say,
"The first shots were fired not 30 seconds ago."
The musical evening news signature comes in ever so briefly. The screen goes to a commercial as Blair screams enthusiastically.
Great graphic, great graphic.
Ernie enters the scene, kisses Jane in greeting, and pats Aaron on the back.
You finally got a piece in a few minutes early. I hear Bill loved it. I have somebody downstairs who one of the clerks brought in and vouches for. He says he has something to say about gays getting promotions at state. Can't hurt to tape him.
Jane feels Tom staring at her, turns and notices him for the first time.
Hi.
How's it going?
Can I buy you dinner sometime soon?
I just got back. I don't know which end is up.
Okay.
We may have noticed Bill Rorish on one monitor as he picks up the phone at his anchor desk during the commercial break.
Jane! Bill Rorish wants to speak to you at the break. I never heard of him handing over compliments in the middle of a show.
There is a stillness in the control room as Jane speaks to the anchor man in New York, who we can view on a monitor. We see Bill Rorish.
Jane?
Yes?
Well, darling, if it gets any better than that, I'm going to have to bring you up here to New York.
Thanks. I just wish you'd kept the first 20 seconds. But thanks.
Well, the visual with the boots at the end was just perfect.
God, you love the boots. Aaron should be hearing this, so I have an extra witness.
Well, you always want to give the credit away, don't you?
No, I don't. He happens to deserve the credit, so he's right here.
I'll speak to you soon.
He hangs up.
He had to read over some new copy.
We see on the monitor this is not so. It's a very eggy moment.
Okay if I watch you tape that interview downstairs?
Yeah. Please laugh so they think I'm not dying inside, but have so much style I just said something funny.
Jane does her part enormously well, laughing with amusement, but her eyes blaze. Her friend has been needlessly humiliated. Blair wants desperately to be inside Aaron's joke.
What did he say?
Oh, I'll never tell.
Small TV studio. Buddy Felton waits alone. A camera crew watches him. He is well-dressed, exceedingly nervous, and summons the courage to ask a question.
Could I see how I photograph?
Huh? Sorry?
Because the interview, they're going to use a screen and disguise me to protect my anonymity, so I just want to see myself before that.
Sure.
The camera woman punches the button and immediately Buddy's image comes up on a standing monitor on the studio floor. He's not happy with the image, but works at concealing his reaction, gasping a bit of air, trying to touch it. Aaron enters. Tom smiles a friendly smile which flusters Buddy momentarily, but again, he almost manages to conceal his private rush. Buddy's internal drama is such he invariably finds himself covering up fearful rooms of people with simultaneously guess his thoughts. Aaron directs him behind a screen and looks at his notes.
It's Mr. Buddy Felton?
Yes.
That's your full name?
Yes.
I might as well ask you the questions on tape. Is that all right?
Yes.
Okay, you worked at one time as foreign service trainee in the State Department.
I was there for 2 years and was promoted on merit 9 times.
Eventually rising to
office bimbo. No, I'm sorry.
You're saying the fact that you're gay had something directly to do with your promotions?
The lines are kind of mixed up here.
Yeah, they're a little mixed up.
Yeah, so GS, I don't know. I don't know numbers.
You're saying the fact that you're gay had something to do with your promotions.
I don't like the word gay.
Which would you prefer?
Ravenous homosexual.
Hear, hear.
Stop the tape, okay? Forget it, Ellen. Call security and get him out.
As Aaron walks out, Tom is momentarily fixed on the side of Buddy, walking in small circles, giving himself a talking to.
Great time to act out, buddy. You won't be happy until you turn the whole world off. They're not really going to call security, are they?
No, I don't think so.
How do I get out of here?
Follow me.
You talked me into it.
Elevator. Tom distracted. His day has been a bit of a bummer. Buddy self-conscious, the proximity creating an almost unbearable tension of romance and adventure. In the lobby, a guard on duty, a black woman, sees Buddy.
Oh, you're the gay guy. I was just coming to find you.
I'm leaving.
It's okay.
Buddy's in step with him.
Sir.
Tom turns. Buddy talks rather quickly. He cares very much about leaving Tom with the right impression, and the last words of his speech he didn't expect to say.
Thank you for not shunning me and all. I really did have all that information, but I thought I might just be being a little bit vindictive to take a hunk of the old spotlight. I know I'm horrible, but I didn't do it, so okay. And thanks again. Would you like to have a drink at a regular bar?
Oh, sure. Okay.
Is there a regular bar around here?
At regular bar, Tom and Buddy on adjoining stools. For Tom, the last weeks have been humbling and antagonistic. He's enjoying Buddy, who listens attentively and wholeheartedly endorses every word Tom speaks.
I've been doing some morning radio stuff, or some morning show stuff. Oh, I've been doing some morning show stuff, but mostly radio. That doesn't bother me. I'm in no rush for anything. It's just the snotty attitude. I mean, even if I have it coming, it's still
bad manners.
Yes, right.
I know. I mean, you didn't do anything special for being a knight. You just had what I think are good manners, decency, and it really makes me want to be nice back. And it has nothing to do with any homosexual thing. I mean, honestly, because I don't know if you're homosexual or not. You're not, are you?
No.
One's enough. I wasn't doing anything.
I really have to go.
Okay. Let me at least show my appreciation. The Secretary of Labor is going to be indicted on Wednesday for the graft thing he supposedly did before he was appointed.
What?
Yes, it's true. They're going to make it public Wednesday, but isn't it a big deal for you to have it a day and a half early?
Yes, yeah, but how do you know?
My roommate's very social. Somebody from the Justice was over, and I always hear things before they happen. And hey, from now on, so do you.
Ernie's office. George Wellen and Tom are seated in the office with Ernie. They are in mid-meeting.
That is me, and I should drink.
That's right.
Where are you, George?
Because I am George. I'm virtually certain it's not true. He may have been indicted eventually, but I don't think it will be this month.
You want to be alone with me? Tell me your source.
I told you I'm not sure it would totally convince you, but I totally believe the guy.
Labor is my department. I can't conform it, and my contracts go very deep.
So if it's true, I'm terrific, right?
That's not even a close call. Of course you can't go with it.
Editing room. Jane is working with Bobby, the editor. Snatches of the tape make it obvious that the labor secretary has been indicted. George Wellen stands behind Jane, who is dialing the number.
Do you want him all the way to the car?
No, stop where he's all besieged.
Because
right there, Bobby.
So he was indicted?
Yes.
You were right not to go with it.
But I was right. Just somebody give it to me. I had a good story.
Give it to him so we can concentrate.
I don't want any credit. Bobby and I serve anonymously.
You know, I like Tom because
Bobby, please.
Metro bus, crowded rush hour. Buddy and Tom stand next to each other.
And the White House is hoping to keep a lid on it for the next few days till they figure out what to do.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Oh, please. So they're really impressed with you at work?
Not impressed exactly, but breaking the clouds.
I see a change in you. I see it.
White House press room. The 10 a.m. briefing just breaking up. Jennifer leaves her network seat in the front row, only to be grabbed by Tom, who steers her outside. In the near distance, a circular driveway and a silent armed Marine guard standing at attention.
So he bought this Peugeot sedan at a greatly reduced price while he was there in charge of the White House advance team.
Oh, how come you're not chasing it down yourself?
Look, I'm junior man and it's your beat.
Boy, that's nice. Like your ass. I wish we could all be with each other like this. You know what? I'm gonna check it out. Anything I can do for you.
This is my first time at the White House. Is there any chance to look at where he works and the rest of it?
I didn't have the guts to ask when I first came up. I'll get you a great tour.
The bar, early evening. Buddy and Tom watching the evening news as Jennifer finishes her story.
The president said it's not a violation, but nonetheless, White House sources say the full price will be paid for the
Peugeot.
And now the new rules will be put future bargain hunting off limits for presidential aides. This is Jennifer Mack, the White House.
Tom and Buddy smile, energized.
Forgive me, but this is really intoxicating being a news source.
Nobody else had it.
I wish it were you giving the story.
Oh, that's okay.
Well, what if we don't tell them anymore unless they let you do the story?
No, really, don't worry about it.
Okay. And look, in the future, I can call you when I have news for you. You don't have to spend time with me to get information. Wow, that wasn't as hard as you thought to say, was it, buddy?
What do you mean? You're one of the few people in this town I can talk to.
Buddy puts this, well, I'm going to let Aaron do that. The bartender and some nearby patrons turn and look. Tom shifts with discomfort.
Hey, buddy, don't do that anymore.
Okay.
Washington Bureau. Jane waiting for an elevator. It comes and she steps on just as Tom, clearly excited, comes around the bend from Ernie's office calling for her. He goes to the stairs. He runs out and sees Jane in the lobby below, then takes off after her. As he enters and runs outside, looking in both directions, then running off to the right, a beat, revealing Jane has stopped to talk with Blair. Now she exits. Tom on the street ahead of her, thinking he's behind her. He runs another half a block and stops, dejected, turns to walk back to the office. He keeps looking back to see if he missed her, so that his head is turned as Jane reaches him, says a fairly social,
Hi, how are you?
Wait, I need you. I've got another story.
Some public official skipped a week on his Christmas club?
The House Armed Service Committee has a secret report which says that General Stilwell's Has a secret report which says that the General Stilwell tank the Army has dumped a fortune into plane won't work. I have it cold confirmed. They have $5 million in this thing already.
Billion.
Okay, billion, right, of course. They told me I could have any producer I wanted, and I want you.
Television studio. Various bureau personnel standing at their desks watching Tom's piece being broadcast. We see a tank misfiring.
One source referred to it as a $5 billion metal sculpture, too ugly to look at and too big to bury.
You write this?
I write for you sometimes.
Not because you have to.
We see a general walking away from Tom.
General Alton McGuire is in charge of the weapons system.
I've been in the Army for 27 years, and I'll let the Army ask the questions, not you.
General, I don't want to bother you anymore or your family, but tomorrow there will be a mob of me back here. So if you have anything to say, why not say it now, sir, the way you want?
On Tom, who's a study, looking at himself, and though it's far from his first time on television, it's the first time he's seen himself doing serious work, and by all appearances, doing it well. As the general answers in the background,
I think it's great of us to have left in what you said. Just great of us.
Yeah, let's never forget, we're the real story, not them.
Tom and Jane look over. Then Tom looks to Jane for a verdict.
Yeah, I know. I went back and forth on it.
I liked it. He's not afraid to be human.
Ernie enters with his 14-year-old daughter in tow.
My youngest wanted to meet you. This is Ellie.
Hi, Ellie.
You should be honored. She never cares about meeting anyone here, but she liked you on television just now.
Hi, Ellie. Remember me?
Did I not assign Ellie?
Of course you didn't, Billy Ray.
I'm sorry, from where?
Been to your house a lot.
And Aaron went on that 14-day
Oh,
raft
no,
trip.
no,
That's
no,
Ernie.
no, no, no.
That's what happened. Ellie, Ernie, Ellie.
Yeah,
right.
he should have changed those names. Good Lord.
Yeah, and Aaron went on that 14-day rafting trip last year with us down the rafting.
Hi.
Newsroom. Tom's on the phone.
Hi, Dad. Dad, did you see it? Great. I'll send you a tape. I'm sorry I haven't called. Things were a little bumpy for a while. It's not important. I'm fine now. Hey, Dad. I just may be able to do this job. Well, I'm glad you were sure.
Ernie Merriman's Virginia home. Ernie is hosting the news staff for Sunday brunch. They stand around drinking in small groups. Aaron is standing with Blair and a man in his 50s we have not seen before.
I don't know why we have to feel defensive about it. Newspapers are in business to make money. Why not us? They criticize us for supposedly pandering while they run Wingo games.
Exactly right. Excuse me, I'm paid to mix.
Goodbye, Paul.
Take care, Paul.
Yeah, bye, Paul.
It takes a certain kind of courage for you to say that in front of the president of the news division.
You think anyone who's proud of the work we do is an ass kisser?
No, I think anyone who puckers their lips and presses it against his boss's buttocks and then smooches it is an ass kisser.
My gosh. And for a while there, I was attracted to you.
Wait a minute. That changes everything.
Jane's at the bar getting a drink. Jennifer enters the scene and leads Jane down the hall until they are standing alone.
Very awkward.
Go ahead. What?
It's dumb dorm stuff, but I see Tom around you a lot, and this is kind of a small office, and I'd like to see him outside of work, unless there's some reason for you to mind, in which case I won't do anything.
Oh, God almighty. Whew. Do I mind? Why do I mind? I do mind. Wow, what a shock. I don't have a right to. I don't think I like him. I know I don't respect him. So, now what am I talking about? What am I saying to you?
You're saying stay away from him.
I can't be.
I don't have to settle for this definite right now, you know?
Jennifer moves towards the drinking table. Jane, unsteadied by the dose of self-revelation, moves towards Aaron's circle and scratches his back in friendship. Tom approaches and she moves off, not wanting to deal with him. She takes a few breaths as she keeps walking, and we hear snatches of party convo.
I mean, one person who ever left television news to work on a newspaper.
Drink.
Yep.
I felt so proud when he turned down news vice president so we could stay here. Suddenly, after all these years, we have a life.
Hi, Tom.
The first time I've seen you dressed like this. You look so clean and pretty.
What do you mean clean?
Oh, at work, there's always this sort of film over you.
Well, thumps like me leave an appearance to guys like you.
Oh, you're great at taking the edge off a good time.
Jane starts twitching.
You okay?
Yes. Just don't say anything mean for a while. Thanks.
She meets his gaze for an instant, and in that instance loses control for the first time in her memory, and she looks strained as she retreats from his glimpse.
I've got to find someone. It's important. Excuse me.
On Aaron and Ernie.
Oh, I had the strangest thing happen just now. I forgot to read my line. I had the strangest thing happen yesterday. Anne and I have been married, 36 years? Everything fine. 2 days after this promotion came through, I was checking myself in the mirror, and she was making a face at me behind my back. So yesterday, I looked in the mirror, and she was doing it again.
You didn't say anything to her?
My instincts tell me not to.
Annie comes up.
I think this is Ernie's wife. You just told me I was
Yeah.
Ernie's wife.
Yeah,
Okay.
this
I
is
have
you
a-
now.
I have a name
Hi,
now.
honey.
What a rush. The office is phoning, honey. I hope he moves that fast when it's me on the line.
Good job, Annie. She passes a chair with an Afghan shawl on the back. She picks it up and wraps it around herself, a bit chilled. She sees Jennifer on the stairs and moves towards her, calling in a too loud, anxiety-ridden voice as she goes.
Jennifer, hey, Jennifer. Forget what I said. You do whatever you want with him.
There's nothing I'm going to do right this second. But it's a party, right? I mean, it's a party. It's a party. Woo! Party!
Jade smiles back, feigning female bonding. Jennifer goes back down the steps and crosses to Tom. Aaron takes in Jade, who is taking in Jennifer and Tom. Then Aaron begins to sense a new dynamic in the room as Ernie re-enters and huddles briefly with Paul. The news president is intent. The two of them walk over to Tom and Jennifer. We pick up just a few words.
This would be a good time to tap that source of yours. He could have an angle or something.
Tom is startled but cool, nods his head. Jennifer is amazed, looking at Tom with new and even prettier eyes. Paul and Ernie now move toward Jane, a whole flow of movement creating a new energy in the area. Jane sheds her Afghan as she rises to meet them.
We want you to exec produce a special report.
What?
A Libyan plane shot up one of our bases in Egypt. It's all still happening.
Let's figure out the field.
Unfortunately, since Paul's here, he's made out the assignments. Jennifer at the White House, George at the Pentagon, Martin at State. We need an anchor since Roche is on his boat with the ladies. So we're going to do the whole report this afternoon from here with Tom.
That's it. I resign as of now.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'll tell you what. I'll stay if Tom knows how to spell Gaddafi.
Ernie, as much as I like you, I think I have to tell Paul what I think, because this is really sort of obscenely stupid.
Jane, if you want to, go ahead. I don't disagree with you.
Jane moves quickly off, awed at the prospect of taking on the big boss. As she moves past Tom, who is talking on the phone, eventually catching up with Paul. In the background, Tom has just heard the beep of an answering machine.
Hello, buddy. It's 1:35, and this is Tom. You can reach me at the office. It's important. I can use a little help.
Jane heard that shit.
Tom isn't ready for the job you're about to hand him. Not near ready. Not by the longest shot. Aaron spent 6 weeks in Tripoli. He's interviewed Gaddafi. He reported on the 8-1 story. I think he's essential to do the job we're capable of, and I think it's my responsibility to tell you that.
Okay, that's your opinion. I don't agree.
It's not an opinion.
You're just absolutely right, and I'm absolutely wrong. Must be nice to always believe you know better, to think you're always the smartest person in the room.
Oh, no. It's awful. Oh my, it's awful. Well, we better get moving.
As they move out, Jane goes to Aaron. He moves with her towards the door.
What happened?
I'll tell you later. Where are you going to watch from?
Watch?
I'll come by your place right after. Drink, take pills. Love you.
She runs out the door. Aaron turns mean and mocks Jane's last words, screwing up his face in a savage burlesque.
Yeah, love you too.
In the driveway, as Jane briefly pauses to see which ward has room, Tom opens the passenger seat of his car. She gets in and it moves off.
Nervous?
Excited.
Jane looks over at him. There's no question he's just told the truth. In Tom's office, we see the bureau newsroom beginning to pulse with activity. Tom closes the door and he sits down behind his desk and opens the bottom drawer. A clean white shirt lies there. He opens the center drawer. 2 ties are inside. He picks one. He reaches for a package of new red suspenders. He takes off the shirt and puts on the new one. All of this, the work of an expert craftsman. By the time he finishes, he looks like the authority figure we know he is now. The bureau newsroom. Jane is not hyper. She is purposeful, organized, even calming Blair with little physical contact, a touch on the arm to steal her colleagues' hysterical demons.
Tell George and Jessica to try and cover everything without Tom having to ask additional questions.
And Bobby says...
Did you hear what I just said? Do you have that? Take a breath.
Yes.
And the most important thing, make sure his earpiece works. Have backups ready. That has never been more vital. He must be able to hear me at every second and clearly. We have 20 minutes. You can wait in the studio.
Tom coughs nervously into his head and takes a pen from a nearby desk, clips it in an inside pocket, and walks off. Graphics room. Shame is screening and asking corrections at a graphic representation of an F-14 shooting down a Libyan Air Force Mirage fighter.
Put in the radar plane that spotted them to begin with.
We have no pictures on file.
Okay, I can't draw, but this is a rough idea.
She uses the stylus from the electronic paint machine to outline an American Air Force E-2C Hawkeye's radar plane. Her work is stunning. Aaron's department. He has a glass in hand, some chips on the table with a bottle of wine as he selects a cassette deck to play. He picks a French song, looks at some of his books. He might even read. He is feigning disinterest for an audience of no one. He sings along with the record in perfect French. Studio hallway. Tom checking copy in the long hallway leading to the studio. There is the merest of hubbubs causing him to look up, and Buddy is being stopped at the other end.
I have to check first.
Well, then check, but hurry. There he is.
Buddy runs the length of the hallway to Tom's aid.
Is everything all right?
Yes. Oh, you didn't have to come here. I just, it's just that I'm going to anchor this special report on this Libyan thing.
Anchor?
Yes. Stop. I wondered if you could find out anything about what's happening. What's wrong?
I broke up with my roommate. He's really a magnet for everyone who knew anything.
Oh.
Look, I can start up with him again if you really...
No, I'm doing fine. Look.
Good, because he is on the world's longest ego trip. Let him take it alone.
Hey, okay, look, buddy, I've got to go to work.
Well, goodbye then.
I'll speak to you.
Well, who knows? Well, let me just tell you what my favorite teacher ever told me. Don't be afraid to be wonderful.
He leans forward, gives Tom a quick embrace, a small kiss on the cheek, and Tom turns and walks off down the hallway to meet his immediate destiny as Buddy looks on. Control room. Jane mounts some steps in the control room, and she moves past the director and technical crew up to the next level where the two new execs, Ernie and Paul, stand with their backs to the wall, and then up one more step slightly above the desk and table occupied by Blair. Now she slips into the large, well-padded throne-like seat as we begin the music cue. Literally at her fingertips is the row of buttons which provide immediate access to the field reporters at the Pentagon, State, and White House. In front of her, the bank of monitors, the technical team, and past from the studio where Tom is seated an anchor, a floor producer, and writer feeding him copy. Angle favoring Blair as she looks at Jane, poised to control the complicated apparatus of minds and machines comprising the big-time network news. And Jane Craig is at the helm. Blair experiences a flash of emotion which transcends envy and verbalizes it.
Executive producer. Wow.
Jane looks at her and in a moment of atypical merriment does a choking gesture at her own throat as she monitors flash a graphic reading. Special report. We hear an announcer's voice that says this is a special report from... Each of 4 buttons labeled on what the microphone can connect her to Tom and the field reporter. She presses the button marked Tom.
You hear me, Tom? Tom? Okay, damn it, he can't hear me. I told you there was one.
I can hear you. I was just teasing.
Gulping in the air in relief, she slumps, nonetheless impressed by the macho cool as Tom smiles towards her, then poises himself just as the announcer's last words clear.
In Washington, Tom Grunick.
He begins his report. He seems authoritative, compelling, even in a low-key way. We trust him.
Good afternoon. A Libyan fighter plane attacked a United States military installation early this morning and was itself shot down by American F-14 interceptors.
Another monitor shows the graphic running. In the background, 2 men approach Paul. They look out of place, decidedly non-business-like.
Mr. Moore, I'm Marvin Usher, and this is my brother Stuart.
Not now. Look.
The Libyan missile destroyed an army warehouse, which, just 30 minutes earlier, had been crowded with servicemen. No one was injured.
Aaron's apartment. Aaron is seated, feet up, drinking, listening to music, reading a book. 2 remote controls are on the cushion next to him. He sings out loud with the record as he reads, at one point providing his own lyric line over the music.
And I can read while I sing.
He picks up the television remote control device and puts the television on to sound off. We see the graphic of the Libyan plane's flight route, its missile firing, the U.S. planes taking off, and the shopping down of the the shooting down of the Mirage jet. At one point, Aaron lowering the music and raising the TV sound, hearing Tom.
The heat-seeking missile virtually disintegrated the plane on...
Aaron turns down the TV sound and turns up the music. Jane's hand flicks to the button marked Pentagon.
George, you're ready.
We see George and hear him. We hear him.
We can see George.
We can hear him too.
Yeah. And should I cover everything or should I save something for Tom to ask about? Is that right?
Everything. Okay, we're going to George. Say the Joint Chiefs are meeting. We have George Weln at the Pentagon.
George Weln is at the Pentagon, where the attack launched by the lone Libyan pilot has resulted in a massive movement of military might.
A lot of alliteration from anxious anchors placed in powerful posts.
Control room.
It's Aaron.
Yes?
I think the pilot that shot down the Libyan in 1981 is stationed right here. Maybe you could get him, and maybe Tom should say that our F-14 is one of the hardest planes to fly. They're nicknamed Tomcats.
Thanks. The F-14 is one of the most difficult planes to master. Oh, you can call them Tomcats. And in the 70s, the first crop had a number of crashes.
George, isn't the F-14 Tomcat one of the most difficult machines for a pilot to master?
I think you're right. It's certainly one of our hottest planes.
I say it here, it comes out there.
There was trouble with them in the early days, back in the 70s.
Me again. Hi, listen, Gaddafi doesn't foam at the mouth or anything. When you speak to him, he's not at all nuts. He seems like a leader, very impressive self-control. That's what's so strange.
Right, and we have the 81 pilot on the way in. Nobody else will have him.
You're welcome. So how does it feel to... I know you got to go. Me too. We're very busy here.
He hangs up.
Outlaw nation, but strangely, those who have interviewed Gaddafi find him, in a phrase we like to use in this country, very presidential.
Nice, Jane.
Just a minute. To state for the message from Libya. Then you'll have the carrier pilot from Sidra in time to... What? No!
Jolted by the shriek in his earpiece, but nonetheless continuing. As she screams into the phone, there is more than volume. She is over the top livid, her face red, neck cords popping.
We only have 10 minutes left. How can you talk to me about parking problems? No, not you'll try. You'll do it. Do it or I'll fry your fat ass, Estelle. Goodbye.
I had no idea she was this good.
Phil for a second.
The latest message seems to indicate that the Libyan pilot was acting on his own authority, without authority from anyone else. In other words, I think we're okay.
Studio 8 minutes later. The production assistant who madly shuffles pages, even as Tom talks on camera, the monitor through which he sees the subject of his interview at the Pentagon, the clusters of assistants on the floor, and now we continue to circle behind him, beginning to see the control room in the background as we move towards his ear. The white piece firmly in place, we begin to hear the barely audible crackle of Jane's voice as she tells him roughly what to say and how long he has to say it.
So, Commander, it must have been a bit tougher today, shooting down the French-made Mirage jet. The one that you got was an Su-22. I don't think I say etc. on the air.
Yeah.
Oh, we're not doing another thing? Okay. Once again, the Libyan government has disavowed any prior knowledge of the flight. This has been Tom Grunick reporting from Washington.
The special report ended. Jane breathes a breath. She and Blair momentarily grasp hands, and the first talk corners Tom.
He was brilliant. I'd never been as proud as one of my decisions.
Great work, Jane. Really, really.
Well, there were no major gaffes anyway. Thanks, everybody.
This was important for Tom. There's that bonding thing that happens with the public and an anchorman during a crisis. It's not the conventions anymore. It's this kind of moment.
Tom Manners.
What a baptismal. Congratulations.
Thanks. With all the help you get, it's easier than local. Where's Jane? I'm still juiced.
Can I help you?
Hold on, sorry.
I get is if I've thought
Who's
it was
Marvin?
Vance too, but I can be Marvin.
You're Marvin.
We're here to play the new news theme.
New theme? Ah, you don't need me for this.
Stay. Why should I be the only one to feel silly?
We need a synthesizer, but this will give you an idea.
Go ahead. Wasn't he great?
Are we hearing the theme? Or are they going to do it?
We
It
haven't
worked.
gotten there yet.
It worked.
Ryan, Alonso, did you guys rehearse this ahead of time?
Okay.
We did not. Bum 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 bum
Bum, bum, bum,
bum bum, and then the strings come in with the melody. And then a counter melody happens. Big finish.
Yay!
You know,
I
think
hope Marc is watching.
I hope he is there.
He's not.
I think that's an
Not.
appropriate place after that beautiful rendition to take a quick few seconds to remind folks to please donate to the Actors Fund. It is our charity for this evening. You can find the link throughout the YouTube chat and click on that. You can make a donation of any size, $1, $5, $50, $1,000. Please do that. Please support the Actors Fund. They're doing fantastic work. They've specifically been doing fantastic work through the pandemic, helping out actors and performers from all over the place. And, they're doing the Lord's work. Help them out as much as you possibly can. And you know what? Now back to the action, because we're only halfway through.
You might have to start doing like half of every action line.
Oh, no, I'll just start skipping them entirely, Drea.
Okay.
This script is
It's
all about
9 o'clock, baby.
This script is all about the dialogue. I'll just start skipping it entirely. Okay. Here we go. Newsroom. As Tom makes his way across it, crews are drifting in. He enters Jane's cubby, finishing. Oh, Jesus. I got too excited. Flushed with the electricity of the wind, the most noteworthy moment of his working life.
You are an amazing woman. What a feeling having you inside my head.
Yeah, it was an unusual place to be.
Indescribable. You knew just when to feed me the next thing, just a split second before I needed it. There was a rhythm we got into. It was like great sex. You have to celebrate with me, don't you? Everybody's going to that bar on the corner. Caps?
I'm going over to errands. Maybe I'll hook up with you all later. How long do you think you'll be there?
Tom indicates it's impossible to answer. News building.
It's tempting to ask you how you think I did. No, I'm enjoying myself. Take it easy.
Maybe I'll see you over there.
She means the bar.
You'll never show up. Jane,
Yeah?
I'll wait for you till 7.
Okay.
Tom races to catch up with the others, and the sound of men vocalizing the news feed comes up and continues through Aaron's apartment as Jane approaches it and is surprised to find him sitting on the stoop outside.
Really? It was good? You're calling in that information? You're the classiest guy I know.
It was strange to watch him. What's the next step? Lip syncing? I've been doing some of the most important thinking of my life. I wonder if this is the right time to tell you about it.
Well, whatever you think.
I figured out exactly why it is I'm so hung up on getting a chance at Weekend Anchor. It's because if I do that well, they'll pay me more, treat me great, and my life will be better. That's why.
Well, sounds like you may be onto something.
Which means I'm at their mercy, and who wants that? I'm not going to tell you where this thought led me. Anyway, why not tell you? It's a happy thing. In the middle of all this, I start to think about something that does nothing but make me feel good and makes immediate sense, and that's you. And I'll stop here, but Jane, I'd give anything if you were 2 people so I could call up the one who's my friend and tell her about the one I don't think I should go any further. Come on, I'll walk you to the corner.
You know, you've had a strange day. I'd sleep on all of these things you've been thinking.
Absolutely. You go have a good time. You have some place to go.
Yes.
Good.
He grabs her and hugs her exuberantly, takes her face in his hands and kisses her full on the lips.
Well, I felt something.
He leaves her on the corner and walks back as the sound of news team vocalizing picks up one more, Jane moving quickly, hailing a cab.
We're going to Caps Bar at 17th and Vermont. Connecticut is clear on Sunday. Take that over to 15th, then around Vermont, and we'll bypass the circle that way. If you don't go over 40, we should catch mostly green lights. Oh, come on. Don't take it the wrong way. I just know about things.
And that was the inspiration for the Californians. Caps Bar.
Great route. I never made anywhere near that fast before.
Thanks. Good driving.
Thanks. Coming from you, I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Tom and Jennifer exit.
I didn't think you'd make it.
Well, I thought I'd check if all of you are still here. I'll just go in and join the gang and, you two go on.
Oh, there's no gang in there. We were the last ones.
Well, I'll go in and have a bite.
Jennifer, you want to have another drink?
Hey, I know how to have a burger by myself. I feel like a little solitude.
I sure know that feeling. Terrific work today.
Right back at ya.
Thanks for getting me through.
Jennifer's apartment. As Tom and Jennifer rush in, locked in an embrace, shedding clothes even as they enter, we are aware of moving forms.
Damn all you sons of bitches! Oh shit! You bastards! Sorry. It's intensely shout.
No, it's okay. People say different things. They do. The plural threw me.
I'm sorry. The last time I was with someone, we went through this awful mutual disease questionnaire, but I guess it beats getting paranoid the next day. Okay, I'll go first. I haven't.
It would never occur to me to worry at all about you.
You know something? I'm deeply complimented. Isn't it strange to be deeply complimented because the man you're with doesn't think you have a venereal disease?
Tom slides out of bed naked. She moves quickly across the bed, outstretched hand reaching for his ass, a free, even lusty sort of motion punctuated by.
Oh, give me some of that!
Where's the bathroom?
Through the closet.
He goes in. She joins.
I converted it a bedroom. This stuff builds up. Wait until you've been doing this for 16 years.
I'm not knocking it. It's a great solution. Not only the storage, but you can see everything you have.
Do you have any bunny rabbits?
That one's confusing without the scene description, Billy Ray.
Okay, I'll go back. Jennifer laughs. He follows her gaze and sees himself in silhouette against the door, his penis prominent in outline.
Does your penis do ears?
Isn't this a great date?
Jane's editing cubicle, the morning.
God help me.
Jesus, Jane, how long have you been here?
A long time. I was restless. Will you crack my neck?
He starts massaging her neck. Ring, ring. She lets it ring, and then she gets it.
Hello? You sure they said the management meeting? They want me to be at the management meeting.
They're not that dumb after all.
Walkway.
Do you know you're the second woman in network news history to produce?
No.
News.
Oh, boo.
No, I'm not. I'm the fourth. Joan Richmond, Pauline Fredericks got that special credit once on a UN special, and then there's Susan Zerinsky.
Management meeting. Paul is running the meeting from behind Ernie's desk.
Okay. All right, I'm just fucking drink. Anyway, they seem to be very serious about making me out $8 million from the budget, and that means massive firing. So I'm doing everything I can. It's too early to make up a death list, but I just wanted you to be aware of the situation. We're also going to cover the Alaskan serial killer trial on a continuing basis. I'd like it done out of Washington, which means we've got to get somebody on the plane for Anchorage. We can't fool around anymore, Jane. This is going to be a high profile on evening news. Who do you think? Oh, yeah. Oh, this is page 66. Yeah, I'm gonna be drunk. Who do you think, George Wellen or Jennifer?
Jennifer.
You dirty dog.
Jennifer.
Tom's office.
Come on, I'll buy you a drink. There's a big thing at the Italian embassy.
I'm not sure I'd be good company tonight.
I'll be the judge of that.
Italian embassy. A man looks at Tom with a glint of recognition. A woman introduces herself.
It's much too soon for you to have this kind of buzz around you.
Do I have to stand here in the middle and meet them all?
I'll get you through. Move and smile. And smile and move.
An Egyptian businessman stops him. Is it safe for me to fly home?
Yeah. Yes, we're fine now.
And smile. And move.
Aaron's with Martin Klein.
The Italians serve the second best things right after the Chinese. I could do an article comparing embassy food, gourmet freeloading, sell it any place. I'm sure not getting the assignments.
Who the heck could that be?
He sees it's Tom.
Is God testing me or something?
Paul loves him. I heard him give the most poetic compliment in his command. He's hot. Sometimes group of executives get together just to say that word back and forth. He's hot. Oh, she's hot. Oh, he's really hot. Hot, 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 hot. And here we are.
Martin, you are not allowed to use the word we or I'm moving.
Maybe Jane would like my food idea as a spot. Try the one in the middle.
He moves to intercept Jane.
Hi, Aaron. What's doing?
Same old stuff. I'm watching a man who won 3 overseas press awards pitch an hors d'oeuvres idea.
You want to go out there, get out of this for a second?
Why don't you lead? I'll just follow the flurry you cause.
What did I do to you?
You made my dream silly.
They go out the French doors to a ground floor terrace.
Heavy hitters.
How you doing?
Great. Network news. Drink. Washington. I love it. What do you do when your real life exceeds your dreams?
Keep it to yourself.
You know, the other day I really wanted your reaction to how we did with the Libyan report. I was going to ask, but I guess I feel a little intimidated with you.
Oh, stop it. You can't talk about feeling intimidated when you're on top of the world. It's unseemly.
I'm not buying into any of that. I have a load to learn. I'm not going to act as if...
You have the job you have.
Shut up a second.
Okay, pretty petty party, isn't it, pal?
The one rule I made for myself when this started, and I realized I was going to take a lot from you people because of being from sports.
Hold on, I lost my place.
That's a drink day.
I know. Here we are.
Drink it, Dave.
I made one rule for myself when this started.
Dave.
And I realized I was going to take a lot from you people because of being from sports.
And the rule was?
Never to pretend to know more than I did.
Can you name all the members of the cabinet?
Okay, let's drop it. I didn't mean I'd take a test for you. I mean, if that came up in conversation,
We're conversing. Oh my, the names of the entire cabinet has slipped my mind. What are they? Don't name them. Just tell me if you know.
Yes, Aaron, I know the names of the cabinet.
Okay. All 12?
Yes.
There are only 10.
You're feeling good, aren't you?
I'm starting to. We may do the capitals of the states next.
50, right?
Jane Street. Tom's car comes to a stop.
I think, well, they changed this to Jane's line in the movie.
Oh, I can take it.
I think it's Jane's line.
Okay. I'm so exhausted, punchy, sick, tired. I can't think and I can't move. I'm just a dead lump of poured out flesh. Would you like to come up?
Maybe we could just sit here, talk a little.
Okay. You didn't like the party, huh?
Too many smart people in one room. It's not healthy. I'm going to have to do a story from beginning to end on my own.
Eventually. Does it have to be now, right now?
Believe me, I wouldn't be doing this unless it was absolutely necessary. I have an idea for something.
What?
I just read about it in a magazine and it affected me.
Well, what is it?
If I tell you, can you manage not to put it down or tell me why it won't work or is in bad journalistic taste or anything like that?
Yes, Tom, I think I can manage. I promise.
It's about women who are attacked by someone they know on a date. A date rape. That's the piece. Well, okay. Good move. Keep it there.
I think we need the description there.
Jan clamps a hand over her own mouth.
Late 80s. Okay, good move. Keep it there.
She continues to clamp her mouth shut as he exits the car, opens her door, and then begins to half curry, half pull her out. She keeps her hand clamped over her mouth, laughing from behind her door, and runs for it. His spirits are lifted. Behind the door, trying to hide the glow in her eyes, in Jane's apartment, the phone rings. Jane's hand bounces off her nightstand to turn on the light, knocking over and breaking the clock radio instead, and 3 alarm clocks stand next to the clock radio. Finally, the light comes on.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Who is it?
I'm not sure I dialed the right. Jane?
Jane, yes. Tom? Tom, is that you? Is this Tom?
Yes.
I had to sleep so fast, so I took 2 allergy pills to help me. I'm sorry. Hey, you called me.
It's not important.
Who says who? Not important. I was dreaming. Oh no, can't tell. How embarrassing for me. Gosh.
What pills did you take? You sound more like someone on a general anesthetic. Maybe I'd better speak to you tomorrow.
No. Is it your story?
No. Are you going to the correspondence dinner on Saturday?
Why? Do you need me for the story?
No. Were you going to go? Or were you going to go?
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'll get off work. I'd like to go.
Oh, okay, good.
We could go together?
So you like me, huh?
I like you as much as I can like anyone who thinks I'm an asshole.
Jane's editing room, Tom with Bobby.
But cops on the street continue to view it as shit. That's too long. But street cops say that fits. That last cut work for you, Bobby?
Yes. And thanks for asking.
Newsroom. As the regulars watch the evening news, in particular the date rape piece, which is now in progress, Tom anxiously eyeing Jane out of the corner of his eye.
What can you do? If a woman invites a man in and he says they had sex and she says he raped her and then you find out they've been out together 2-3 times, how can you prove a crime?
Tom and a woman of about 30 in the 1980s, dignified but fragile. She looks like someone who might be cast for a church production of The Glass Menagerie in the 1980s.
It will be a year next month since it happened. I never thought I'd talk about it outside of counseling.
Aaron enters.
Hi.
He is shushed by every woman in the room, accepts this, and takes up a position near Tom and Jane to watch them.
We'd gone out twice, and I hadn't enjoyed myself that much, but it gets to a point, I don't know if you can appreciate this, but where you don't want to sit home or be with your girlfriends, and people have always been telling me I was too picky. I'm not. It's just you want to meet a nice guy. So anyways, it was that give him a chance thing. No, it wasn't. I was lonely. So we went to a movie. When he brought me home, he said he could just come up and have 1 beer and then he'd go. How do you say no to that? So first, it was this wrestling match, which was awful enough because it got to be really a fight. And I'm a modest person. And then he ripped my clothes and he forced me to make love. He stayed in my apartment and forced me more times. And he didn't leave until I promised myself I wouldn't cry. It's hard not to. You sure have a sympathetic face. I was so sure I wouldn't do this, but the whole thing messed me up. Maybe more than it should.
As the news piece cuts to Tom's face, he turns, clearing a tear from his eye. These watching struck, perhaps embarrassed but riveted. Aaron is aghast. Aaron approaches the set.
Can I turn on the news for a second? Oh, wait. Sex tears? This must be the news.
Tom stares daggers at him as a publicist. Boo! Boo!
I'm the villain of the movie.
You are.
Yeah.
I don't think you can overestimate it. On any given Saturday night, tens of thousands of women are being attacked, and there isn't much they or we can do about it.
The victims often remain too terrified to talk. The police powerless, and all the social welfare groups can finally do is monitor this epidemic of crime without punishment. This is Tom Grunick in Annandale, Virginia.
Tom continues to glare at Aaron.
I'm in a pissy mood. I'm sorry.
What's wrong with it?
Nothing. I think you really blew the lid off Nookie.
Boo!
I suck. I'm the worst.
Claire moans with displeasure. Aaron exits the scene. Others start to congratulate Tom on the piece. We see frozen wilderness now on the monitor, men digging in the ground, clumps of people watching them work. Proving her own ambivalence, Jane, or to be more accurate, working towards a positive stance.
Nice work. I've got to get the crew off the clock.
Tom and Jane by themselves.
So what did you think?
It moved me. I did relate to it. I really did. It was unusual for you to cut to yourself when you tear up, and that might not have been my choice, but it's real and it got me. And I think a lot of the time I'm too conservative about that kind of stuff. Okay?
Yeah.
The monitor.
Tomorrow, the grand jury returns. The sight of each day brings more relevance of horror. 4 more bodies now taken from the frozen earth. This is Jennifer Mack in Wota Hamlet, Alaska.
2 weeks later, in the newsroom.
Ernie's been looking for you.
Aaron's office.
Oh, I was just writing you a note. What do you say we take a walk?
Outside?
Yeah.
Washington Street.
I don't know if we have any younger men. I don't know if we have any younger man more respected in our operation than you.
Just tell me what's really going on. I think we know each other well enough for me to expect that.
We know each other well enough for me to take care of how I put something to you, which could wipe you out. I mean, so I'll phrase things the way that I think they should be phrased, all right?
Wipe me out?
Anyway, I want you to think of this as...
Just blunt talk, okay? I'd really appreciate bluntness.
Upper management thinks you're dull. Aaron, I've never seen them like this. I think Paul's nervous about his own job. For some reason, he thinks you only appeal to...
Wait. Bullshit me a little. I'm beginning to appreciate it.
Well, I'm not suggesting the worst of it will happen, but someone with your brilliance, gets nibbles about other jobs, and maybe the next time that happens down the road, you should look into it.
Ah, damn, the fucking jerks. My God, they want to fire me.
All I know is that they've got to fire a large number of people, and they're not going by seniority. So there's a recklessness in the air.
Do one thing to me. Get me one shot at anchoring the weekend news. They've never seen me do it. I think it could turn them around.
Ring.
Yes. I could do it this Saturday. Everyone wants off for the correspondence dinner.
Do it then.
Please prepare carefully. This couldn't come at a better time.
Prepare what? You have Saturday's news handy?
Jeez. It's been a while since you read the news.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'll have somebody work with you. Just on the superficial performance things. Please.
Okay. I think I'd better be alone for a while.
I understand. But I'll go with you.
Thanks.
Small TV studio. Aaron is seated behind the desk. He's practicing.
This is uncomfortable for me because, well, I don't mean it as a knock, but we approach this differently.
We sure do. I don't mean it as a knock either. Okay, go ahead. I'll just say what I think and you can disregard it if you want.
It just might not work for me because of our different approaches.
Aaron begins reading the news and barely he's interrupted.
Wait.
What?
Your coat jacket is rising up in the back. When you sit down, sit on your jacket a little. That gives you a good line. Look at yourself in the monitor.
I don't like being handled.
Sit on it. Now, look.
Just don't physically... Oh, fantastic. Fantastic tip. Thank you. Oh, all right. Mm-hmm.
All right. No, that's not going to tell us anything. Let's get this prompter going.
It's not loaded.
All right, I'll find some copy. Be right back.
Tom exits, Aaron looking after him, clearly taken with the genuine camaraderie, the unmistakable joy Tom derives from helping out. He comes back.
Okay, I got copy and I got Ellen to heat up the camera and I got master control taping so you can study it later.
Hey, Tom. I'm very appreciative.
Later.
Aaron's reading. No.
No?
Yeah, don't let your eyes go from the beginning of the sentence to the end like that. You don't want to look shifty.
Oh, God, no.
And the left side of your face is the good one. So go again and try to punch one word or phrase in every sentence. Punch one idea, a story. Punch, come on. Good. Very nice.
Thank you for the compliment, Tom.
And try not to move your head or wrinkle your forehead. Okay. Yeah, this is good. Very good.
News Bureau. Aaron, tape in hand, is saying his farewell to Tom. He is facing his left side as he will do for the rest of his life on Earth.
You were smoking towards the end there.
The pointers were great. I'll study the tape.
And remember, you're not just reading the news or narrating. Everybody has to sell a little. You're selling them this idea of you. You know, what you're sort of saying is, trust me, I'm credible. So whenever you catch yourself reading, just stop and start selling a little. So long.
Jane's apartment. Jane's running late. The doorbell rings. It's Aaron.
Put some rum on the outfit you picked out. Let me show you the alternatives.
Why don't I meet you there? I've got some last minute stuff I've got to take care of. Hey, how did you resolve your dilemma? Did you rent the tux or buy it? I knew it. How much? Wow. Okay. See you there.
I didn't know you were going with him.
Did you bring your gray suit?
Yes, I was thinking that way too. Which tie?
Thanks. Try this one. I read about it. That's how you can make sure you don't put on too much perfume.
Could you at least pretend this is an awkward situation for you? Me showing up while you're getting ready for a date.
It's not a date. It's coworkers going to a professional conclave.
She removes some condoms. Washington Street. Jane on a public phone. Aaron standing nearby with inside of a taxi stand.
How long will it take you to send one? You look terrific.
Really? Because this is important, so don't just be polite. I'd really like to look, what's the word I'm looking for?
As good as humanly possible?
Yes.
Well, the line of the jacket. No, really. It's just very nice. Just right. I wish I could be there.
Me too. Hey, if it gets dull a little before 11, drop by the studio.
I'm not sure I'll be able to.
If not, I'll have the tape. I'll wait for you at my apartment.
Okay, great. Good luck.
Thanks, Jane. Have a good time tonight.
You too.
I'd hug you, but why risk mussing either of us?
She half-laughs, kisses him, wipes the slight lipstick mark from his cheek, and in a sudden decision takes each of her shoulder pads from her jacket and puts them in his, improving his look while diminishing her own. Washington Hotel. A hefty percentage of the journalist industry are there. Washington Hotel atrium. As Jane enters, lost momentarily in the lobby, greenhouse, the majority of the throng passing through in formal clothes. A bit of dialogue overheard from two men in dinner jackets.
The LA Times is a the LA Times is a great outfit. Best severance pay in the business.
He was lecturing me, and finally I just said, I'm sorry, I refuse to look at it as a negative, that I'm young and my news appeals to people my age.
And it's not like he just didn't hire a 26-year-old producer himself.
No kidding, 26.
Oh, Rico, we did it all together.
No. Two men talking.
Two men.
And anonymous older man says,
Remember Brinkley's great line? It's as irrevocable as a haircut.
That's anonymous.
The floor below, Tom's in the world's best fitting tux. She silently mouths the words smile and move, which exactly is what he's doing.
He doesn't see me soon. We're not supposed to be together.
He sees her. They see each other.
It's incredible who's here.
Who?
Me.
Newsroom. Aaron seated in the maid's newsroom in shirt sleeves writing. He takes the just completed page out of the typewriter and walks over to the weekend news producer.
Want to look at this?
Sure.
What are you doing here?
The weekend news. Anchoring the weekend news.
Drink.
Way to go.
This is terrific news, Aaron. It's a pleasure to read.
Thanks. Oh, there's water on the set, isn't there, in case I get an attack of cottonmouth?
Sure, you'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
On the ballroom.
How you doing, Paul?
Wait, we're missing a line there, so we better throw it in.
Oh, off camera. It's Paul.
Can I have your autograph for my wife?
How you doing, Paul?
So this is why you wouldn't do the weekend news. You can't turn down a free meal.
Yes, born to party.
I'll see you two inside. I think we're all at the same table. You finally learned to be flexible. Glad you changed your mind about Tom.
I'm sorry. I don't want to go in there and sit with everybody. I can't. Why don't you go?
Suppose I get in for a little while and you wait in the lobby bar. How's that?
Good. That's it. See you.
Jane, you're not going to take off on me, are you?
She steps on the escalator, riding upwards. Tom, watching her to the escalator, he finds himself doing the simplest thing, stepping onto a moving step. Jane 4 steps ahead of him, not yet aware of him. He moves past another man as he's standing directly behind her.
I just want you to know that my giving up the correspondence dinner puts tremendous pressure on you.
She's blown away by the gesture. News studio. Studio floor, focusing on the activity around the news desk and the cameras. The floor manager stands ready to cue Aaron.
20 seconds.
Checks himself to make sure he's all good. Check, check, another check. They're messing with his hair. 4 busy hands.
10 seconds.
How many?
10.
Okay.
Watches the makeup woman scurry underneath the camera lens, resist on his jacket, and finally has the moment the system has been denying him for years. End of his cue with Aaron Altman.
Good evening. In mood and language better suited to an espionage novel than the delicate world of the Western Alliance, the British Foreign Secretary today pounced on what he termed the nest of professional spies and amateur traders who were turning NATO headquarters into an instrument whose only true function is folly. We begin our coverage with Edward Town in London.
Aaron looks up, takes a breath. He's done well. He's punched his words and his one thought for the story. His gaze has been steady, his voice firm, but he has begun to perspire. He dabs with his finger at the first trickle from his brow, brushes some more prominent sweat from his upper lip, and beckons nervously to the makeup woman.
Gee whiz.
5 seconds.
Scurries away, Aaron reaching for another Kleenex from her box and missing it. A graphic illustrating his next scripted section appears behind him.
The sub-bases referred to are located in 5 countries.
And now the moisture on his face is clearly discernible. The floor manager makeup woman grimacing at the growing specter.
France, Belgium, the Netherlands, Spain, and
now so much moisture sprouts from his upper lip that he pushes his lower lip out to slurp away the sweat.
as well as Great Britain. Our own State Department was rocked not only by the revelation, but from the highly unusual persistence from the State Press Corps. Martin Klein reports on the ruckus at Foggy Bottom.
He's sure that he's off.
Help me.
The makeup woman picks up her Kleenex box and thinks better of it.
Okay, somebody find me some big towels.
He blocks his face, some makeup streaked.
5 seconds.
As she scurries away, this time entering the control room, trotting up one stair to look at the monitor, the director talking to his camera operators.
I'd go loser, but we wouldn't see the graphic.
No, this is more than Nixon ever sweated.
Oh, can't you just die for him?
Washington Street. They drinking and walking.
You okay?
Great.
He's holding her hand. Why can't I let go of this woman?
Well,
small kiss. Then he caresses her breasts while continuing to look at her.
At least kiss me when you do that.
You just can't stop editing me, huh?
This is hysterical.
Last little kisses him. He's still rubbing him breasts.
I was half hoping I wouldn't have a good time tonight. You know why?
Because you're nuts.
Right. Isn't she fun to tease?
More and more lately, when I've watched you in action, I've seen all your energy. I've been wondering what it would be like to be inside all that energy.
Good pickup line.
He takes a gulp of her drink.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Right back at you.
Oh, yeah, that's everybody drink, right?
Don't remember saying anything like that exactly before. I don't know why I just did.
Oh, let's see. Wait a minute. Well, I can think of 2 reasons.
What?
3. I just thought of a 3rd. If you talk about it, you don't have to do it.
That's not it.
Good. Another is you're trying to make it all about sex and heat and nothing else. Or it's that great feeling that you don't want to hold anything back. You know, intimacy.
She elbows.
Oh, shit. I'm a creep. I forgot all about Aaron. I promised to stop by and see how he did.
Oh, I'd like to know. I'll go along.
No. I'll see you at your apartment as soon as I can.
She starts to flurry with activity, moves to the curb when out of nowhere, Tom barks a sharp command.
Jane!
What happened?
Don't just run off like everything's settled the minute you make up your mind.
He might be weird. He can talk more freely if I go alone. Why is that so hard to understand?
It's not that it's hard. I just want you to give me a minute to catch up.
Okay. Sorry. Don't yell at me like that again. You scared the life out of me.
Damn straight. Don't be yelling like that. As Jane exits the cab and moves up the steps. At Aaron's apartment, she knocks on the door.
I was in the shower.
How'd it go?
I didn't see it or speak to anybody.
No?
Then it went well.
Did it really go well?
Define your terms.
Do you feel good about it?
No.
Do others feel that you did well?
No.
Then what was good about it?
I lost 6 pounds.
Aaron, will you tell me?
It was great. Writing my little first-rate copy, sitting on my jacket, punching my one thought. But I had this historic attack of flop sweat, so they'll never let me on again. Oh, I lost one of your shoulder pads. That was your evening anyway.
What do you mean, flop sweat? You're making too much out of it. I'll bet you were the only one aware of it.
People phoned in.
Okay, stop kidding. I just want to know what happened.
I'm not kidding.
There were complaining phone calls because you were sweating.
No, nice ones. Worried that I was having a heart attack.
If all of that happened, how come you're so chipper?
I don't know. At a certain point, it was so off the charts bad, it got funny. My central nervous system was telling me something. Jane, sweat running down my face, makeup falling into my eyes, people turning this fuselage of blow dryers on me. Also, I could read introductions to other people who were covering stories, which is what I like to do anyway. And I'm chipper because you finally showed up. I thought I'd cook for us. Tequila and eggs sound good?
I have to be somewhere.
1:15 in the goddamn morning.
I told what's his name, Tom, that I'd meet him.
Call him. I mean, it could wait, right?
I don't know. I may be in love with him.
No!
Starts for the door.
Don't go.
This is important to me.
Yeah, well, I think it is important for you too. Sit down.
What?
Let me think for a second. It's tough. Jane, let's take the part that has nothing to do with me. Let's let me be your most trusted friend, the one that gets to say awful things to you, you know?
Yes, I guess. Yes.
You can't end up with Tom because it goes totally against everything you're about.
Yeah, being a basket case.
I know you care about him. I've never seen you like this about anyone. So please don't take it wrong when I tell you that I believe that Tom, while a very nice guy, is the devil.
This isn't friendship.
What do you think the devil is going to look like if he's around? Nobody's going to be taken in if he has a long red pointy tail. No, I'm semi-serious here. He will look attractive and he will be nice and helpful and he will get a job where he influences a great God-fearing nation and he will never do an evil thing. He will just bit by little bit lower standards where they're important. Just coax along, flash over substance, just a tiny bit, and he'll talk about all of us really being salesmen. And he'll get all the great women.
I think you're the devil.
No, you know that I'm not.
How?
Because we have the kind of relationship where if I were the devil, you'd be the only one I told.
You were quick enough to get Tom's help when...
Yes, I know, right. And if it had gone well for me tonight, maybe I'd be keeping quiet about all this. I grant you everything, but give me this. He does personify everything you've been fighting against, and I'm in love with you. How do you like that? I buried the lead.
And that's where we finish our drinks.
Oh my God.
Yes, that's right, Ryan. Christmas has come early.
I'm so drunk.
I just went and got it and filled my drink.
I guess you don't know the movie as well as you thought, huh?
I was out and I didn't want to like pantomime doing the big drink line.
Fair enough.
Oh, okay. Beautifully performed, Dave.
Beautiful.
Yes, beautiful.
I've got to not say that out loud. It takes too much out of me.
Sit down. Stop.
I never fought for anyone before. Does anybody win one of these things?
At Tom's apartment, he hears someone outside, thinks it's Jane. It ain't. Back to the phone rings.
Hi, it's me.
Where are you?
I can't get away just yet. I'm at Aaron's.
Oh, well, when?
I'm not sure. It seems like he had sort of a mishap on the news.
I know, I taped it.
It wasn't as bad as he thinks, was it? It wasn't unprecedented or anything.
Well, not if you count Singing in the Rain. Look, do him a favor and don't treat it like a tragedy. You want me to talk to him?
He says you could hardly notice it.
Aaron beckons for the phone and Jane hands it to him.
Don't say anything about anything.
Hi, will I ever sing again?
Everyone has one like that. I thought it was great when you started to laugh at the end.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry. I'm tying up Jane. I didn't realize you two would be going this late. Sorry.
No, don't worry about it.
I'll put her on.
Hi again. Sorry about...
No, that sounds more important. Let's forget about tonight.
I don't know if that's absolutely necessary.
I've got my father coming through tomorrow anyway. I should get some sleep.
Uh-huh.
I'll see you at the office. Good night. Hello?
Yes?
Oh, okay. Good night.
Good night.
Jane, I'm not some chore you have to finish so you can stay on schedule.
Okay, great, Grunick. Easy shots now, huh? Good night.
Hangs up.
He just canceled. He had a chance to think and he canceled. I can't breathe over a guy, but I can't breathe. Damn it.
He gulps, hands on her knees, leaning over, another deep breath.
Well, Jane, it was nice of you to drop by.
Jane's apartment. She enters, goes immediately to the phone, to the answering machine. No messages. She hangs up the phone, compulsively hits the Tom button again. Busy, busy, and again busy. She considers for a moment hitting the button next to Aaron's name.
Be fair.
Ernie's house. As he picks up for newspapers, dotting his lawn, and opens the door of his car just as his wife calls from the door.
Ernie, they're calling from work.
You're muted, Joey.
No, he has no
I
idea.
can't hear
Joey, you're
you.
muted.
He has no clue.
You
He
muted
doesn't know.
your microphone,
I
Ernie.
feel like you still got to drink, Joey.
You crushed this man's spirit.
Joey's
Drink,
Tell
Joey.
me I'm on the way in. Just tell me I'm on the way in.
It's Paul.
Ernie's a bit concerned. He gets to the phone.
Hello?
Oh,
Yes. Would there be any point in me going to New York to talking to them? Would there be any point in going over it with you? No, I'm still coming in.
What?
They fired me.
How horrible. We'll be fine. You'll be fine. Stay here with me. We'll go for a drive. Have some drinks. Make happy plans.
No, they're firing even more people than they said. Someone want to talk. I don't know. It could help.
Well, I could use somebody to talk to on a day like this. Sorry, go ahead.
Bye, sweetie.
Okay, sweety.
Well,
another great character that just got wholesale just cut out of the movie.
Yeah, shame.
Jane in the editing room. Jane is sitting at her editing cubby. Blair enters carrying an armload of tapes.
I got 4 hours of French demonstrations. Some of it they use water cannons.
What are you dressed up for? Oh, that's right, because the evening news is here this week.
News.
Right.
Oh,
I spent a fortune on this.
Blair exits and Jane heads towards Tom's office.
I kept trying to call you. You never called me. Were you just diddling me? Is that I'm great if I'm helping your career, but when I'm a woman for a second, I get immediately fucked around by you.
Jane, this is my dad.
Please forgive what I said. Sorry.
You just light up a room and leave, huh?
You want my opinion?
The thing that's easy to miss about Jane is
You want my opinion? It's okay if you don't.
yes, I would.
The way she just acted is not the way an affectionate person acts.
Newsroom. Paul arriving with Bill Rorish, the first time we've seen the multimillionaire anchorman in the flesh. He has the grace and dignity of a man who spends every waking moment working on grace and dignity. He and Paul are in the midst of an important conversation.
Just when you start telling people.
Says Paul.
Come on, Paul. Come on, Paul.
almost immediately.
I'd like to take everyone out after the show.
Bill, this is hard on all of us, and it's no time for compliments. But I think it's extraordinary of you to come down here for this.
If we're not here for each other during the tough time, we're not a news organization.
Blair enters.
News.
News.
Come on. Stop this madness. You might as well pick the Billy Ray.
Welcome back to Washington.
Thanks. I've forgotten. Was she on the list?
Paul nods yes.
This is a brutal layoff, and all because they couldn't program Wednesdays.
You can make it a little less brutal by knocking $1 million or so off your salary. Just a bad joke. I'm sorry. Awful. It's a miserable day, and That was some kind of totally sick joke defense mechanism, which does not indicate any of my feelings, not one, but just shows the kind of stress this represents for all of us.
Tom and his father enter.
Hi, it's about time.
Good to see you, Bill.
They shake.
This is my father.
Good to meet you, sir.
Goodbye, Tom. I'll go back home and tell all your old teachers.
Jane's editing room.
I feel terrible about what happened. What did he say?
He said he liked you because you looked like you had fire and honesty.
No. Did he really?
Yeah. And then he said a really weird thing.
What?
That it would be a treat to make someone like you feel better. He gets like that sometimes.
That is so perfectly. It really makes me feel a little faint. Woo.
Blair enters wildly.
They canned me. Well, my brother will feel great. Now he's not the only screw up.
It started.
Paul wants to see you.
Ernie's outer office.
He'll be just a minute.
Tom sits down, pats his tie in place as a beat and the door opens. Paul leads out Martin Klein.
You know, I'm just old enough to be flattered by the term early retirement.
It's wonderful. What a lovely line. If there's anything I can do.
I certainly hope you die soon.
A little smile to Tom, and he's off.
Tom, we're having a severe cutback. Tom, 17 people in this bureau, including technical personnel, and we're going to reorganize at the same time. I'm going to take you out of Washington. We're going to take you out of Washington for a while and assign you to London.
Newsroom. Aaron and Ernie are off to the side of the newsroom. People are packing their belongings. The secretaries cry and embrace.
No, I won't keep my voice down. Those sons of bitches, they are worse than accountants. They are bad accountants.
Have you guys seen Jane?
She's in there becoming the first woman bureau chief we've had in here.
What'd they do with you?
They booted me out of Washington.
Impossible. There's no system that wouldn't value one of us.
Why? What did they do to you?
That's what he did. I'm proud of it.
They told me they'd keep me because they could plug me into any story and my salary was in line.
The cost-effective reporter.
So I quit.
A weeping woman bursts into their circle and sweeps Ernie away.
Are you packing up tonight?
Yes, and I'm sorry that they're sending you down for a while, but you'll make it back. Where are they sending you?
London.
London? That's a promotion!
I don't think so.
It is. Yes, that's where they had Rorish. For God's sakes, before they made him anchor. I can't stand it. They're grooming you for it all, and you don't even know.
Oh, hold it down, okay?
Can I ask you something? You only had one crew on the date rape piece, right?
Yeah. You're not going to stick around for the farewell party?
No, I don't know how much fun it will be when Martin Klein and Ernie have to drop off their credentials with the security guard. This story they won't cover. And if the network doesn't cover it, it must not be important. So why worry?
I'm going to miss you. You're a prick in a great way. You know what?
No. I like the way it made me sound. Okay? Be good. So long.
Tom's office. He clears his desk. There's a paper that says, "Good luck. You'll love the bureau chief. Previous occupants." Newsroom. Tom enters from his office. A wake is slowly igniting. Jane across the room, hugging one person after another, embraces an older secretary.
Oh, Drea,
You know what? I always wanted to tell you that
This isn't the last time we'll see each other. It's not. We'll get them back. It's going to change.
Except for socially, you're my role model.
Tom mouths the word London. Editing room. Tom enters and waits for Jane.
These people, it's so awful. It just hurts physically, doesn't it? Like something's wrong with your bones, like your organs are shifting inside your body.
Maybe I haven't been here long enough. But hey, congratulations on the promotion.
How can you say that to me?
Sorry. Look, I can't stand here feeling bad that I don't feel worse. This has happened at every station I've ever worked for. Look, I think it's crazy for you to come in here tomorrow and start a new job. I have a week to get to my job. Let's get the hell to some island fast and find out how we are together away from this.
Well, I think that's an extraordinary proposal.
That's a yes?
That's more than a yes. That's a you bet.
They kiss. Aaron's apartment. The phone rings.
Hello?
Bastard. Sneak. Quitter.
Speaking.
I just found out. You didn't say anything to me. You just resign. Will you meet me now? No, now. I'm going away tomorrow. Please.
They drinking at a restaurant now.
Why not just try it for a few weeks?
Stop. Ernie thought I was good too. He couldn't help. My agent has a hot prospect, the #2 station in Portland. The general manager says he wants to be every bit as good as the networks. Personally, I think you should aim a little bit higher.
Tell me the God's honest truth. Are you leaving because of me? Because if you are...
Ernie told this story, how he used to write obits, and when the people in town called him up with death notices, he cried. He was that way when they promoted him out of obits. He says you're lucky if you can get out while you could still cry. I should have quit this place 3 years ago.
You're just trying to say all great stuff, so I'll feel even worse that you're not around.
Let's go.
I just want to sit here longer. I mean, the feeling is powerful. Why is that?
Maybe the best part of your life is over and you don't want to get up and start the bad part.
Well, now you're required to sit here with me. Come on, be smart for a second. What do you think will happen to us?
Okay, that's very easy. 5 to 6 years from now, I'll be in town to collect an award representing the surge in foreign coverage by local stations.
Yes.
I'll be walking with my wife and 2 children. We'll bump into you on the street. My youngest son will say something, and I'll tell him, it's not nice to make fun of single fat ladies.
You won't be able to stay mad at me, right?
I hope so. No, I'm not really mad. I'll miss you. We'll talk. We'll always be friends. We'll get hot for each other every few years at dinner and never act on it, okay? Jane, you know how Tom had tears in the piece the other night? Ask yourself how we were able to see them when he only had one camera, and that was pointing at the girl during the interview. I'm fairly sure I was right to tell you.
In the office, Jane enters. She locates the cassette labeled Date Rape. As she enters the table to the player she watches, this is what she sees.
The whole thing messed me up more than it should.
We hear Tom.
Okay, that will do it. Are you okay?
The tape is rocky now. The sound woman and cameraman continue to roll as they move towards their next shot. At times, the camera pointing towards the carpet, but the sound continues. The crew chatting, mentioning that the tape is still rolling.
Oh no, that's enough. That's enough.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be silly. What are you sorry about?
The way you were looking at me, I just went.
I just need you for another minute now so we can shoot from behind towards me, and
Uh-huh.
and that way we have someplace to go when we cut. And I just sit here and I nod my head and I look nerdy.
Jane chuckles.
Tom!
Yeah.
It kills me we didn't have a second camera. It was so powerful seeing your reaction.
Really?
Yes, it is. For a second there, I thought you were going to cry yourself. That would have been something.
Then give me a minute.
Fucking asshole.
As Jane watches, we see Tom work up the tears we saw in the evening news piece. As he does so,
Oh, that's amazing.
Jane's shocked reaction. The BWI airport. James' cab pulls up to the curb. She gets out. She's carrying no luggage. She sees Tom.
Look who's the organized one. It's okay. I got everything.
I'm not going.
Why?
I saw the taped outtakes of the interview with the girl. I know you acted your reaction after the interview.
I felt funny about it afterwards. It's verboten, huh? I thought since I did it for real the first time, but I get you. That's not the reason you're not coming.
Of course it's the reason. It's terrible what you did.
Okay, we disagree on how god-awful it was. Why don't you come with me and then we can disagree and get a tan at the same time?
Jesus, if you're glib about this, I'm going to lose it. I was up all night and
Jane.
it made me ill. You can get fired for things like that.
I got promoted for things like that.
Working up tears for a new piece cutaway. You totally crossed the line.
It's hard not to cross it. They keep moving the little sucker, don't they?
It just proves that the differences we have.
Look, this is a one-way argument. We've got 6 days. If you go and we fight and we hate it, we'll come home. If you don't go, well, that's a much bigger deal. I go to London right after that, so it'd be a very big deal if you stay here. Plane's boarding. You're good at a deadline. Here's your ticket.
It's amazing. You commit this incredible breach of ethics and you act as if I'm nitpicking. Try and get this. When you edited that...
I'm leaving now. Gate 43.
He turns and walks away, moves past the medical detector, frustrated, pissed off at her. She's pissed off at him. She moves quickly along towards the metal detectors. As she passes through and sets off the buzzer, she stands there, the heel of her hand pressed to her brow, trying to stem the tears. As others look on, she takes a huge keyring from her pocket, deposits it in the box, and walks through without a buzzer and moves on. Tom waiting while People Eater buses ferry passengers to the plane. Once one pulls away, another empty one arrives.
This is the last one.
That's not going to be the way we say goodbye, even though I think what you did was rotten. It's not at all impersonal. Because you mean something to me.
You keep coming after me and looking down on me. It's starting to make me batty. Look, I can't help it that they like me. And I like that they like me. And I think there's a lot of this job that I do well. What do you think it takes to do this job the way they have it now?
I don't want to discuss work.
Well, let's get a special report on that. I mean, that's news. Drink.
God damn it.
I knew what you meant.
What I don't know, I can learn. And what I know, nobody can teach. Excuse me for saying it about myself, but I think it's true. What do you think? No, never mind what you think.
You're lucky I came after you, so you got that off your...
Yes, I am. Thanks. I mean it.
It's okay.
Sir?
So you have an extra bathing suit, huh?
You want to come?
It's just one of the few things I'm not confused about is what I was saying downstairs, that
Then you should stay here.
it's better when you let me say it.
He hugs her.
Take it easy.
Why did I have to do this to myself? Watch you take off. Call me if you need anything.
He kisses her lightly.
Oh, honey.
He walks to the People Eater, gets on, still holding his paper bags and bathing suits, and the bus pulls away. She watches him go. Outside, she gets into a cab.
Morning.
Good morning. DuPont Circle, please. Don't take the Beltway because at this time of day, there's just going to be a lot of... Just go any way you want. But New York Avenue's faster.
7 years later, a sign off to one side tells us it's the annual meeting of the local TV broadcasters, and that's at 2 p.m. Tom Grunick will be speaking on responsibilities of broadcast journalism from the 90s. We're in the 90s now.
Oh, my God.
We're in the audience now.
Yeah. Oh, and Aaron's there.
Yeah, Aaron's there, and also a curly-headed 5-year-old.
When they told me Bill had decided to retire and offered me the evening news, Drink. I thought it was the same kind of joke we used to pull back at the station, you know, turning off somebody's prompter in the middle of a show. And when they heard my reaction, they thought I was kidding. I told them I'd be their anchor, but I didn't want to be the managing editor, that there were people better qualified than I to control the content. And if there weren't, we were all in trouble.
Minutes later, everybody's leaning forward. They love this man.
And now, there's something more important. I'd like to introduce my bride. Lila?
A svelte, classic, warm beauty gets to her feet. Aaron and his son as Aaron cranes for a look at Mrs. Grunick. Tom and Lila shake hands. Aaron, his son in his arms, wait. He sees Aaron, Tom does, clearly delighted.
Holy shit, Aaron. Lila, this is Aaron Altman.
Yes.
Who's it gonna be?
Sasha.
Oh yes, you're one of Tom's 50 or so role models.
What a burn they cut out of the movie. I like Lila so much better now.
Hi.
Well, this kid couldn't possibly belong to anybody else. What's your name?
Clifford.
What are your names?
Do you know who this is, Cliff?
The big joke.
I'm just bringing him over to give Jane a look at him.
Well, I thought she'd be here. Here, I'll go with you.
Okay.
I'll see you back at the hotel.
All right. Is this? Oh, Tom, the speech was magnificent.
Oh, I didn't say anything about your speech.
I appreciate it.
Walkway. Tom, Aaron, and the boy walking along. Tom plays with Cliff as they move. The boy is delighted. Jane's in a park, a blanket spread out, wearing shorts and a top. She has some wine and a small picnic, a toy for Clifford.
Well, why not? Hey, what's this? My life's rushing in front of my eyes.
A picnic?
I thought for old Cliff here. Look at you. You're more adorable than your pictures. Look what I got for you.
What do you say, Cliff?
He kisses her hand.
He excels at gratitude.
So, are you any closer to a decision?
I think so. They've been talking to me about being Tom's managing editor.
Really?
I'm going to take it.
What a great surprise. I didn't think we had a chance. I heard you wanted to stay in Washington.
Well, there's a guy, but he says he'll fly up a lot.
Well, we should talk. You gonna have time for dinner? I'd like you to meet Lila.
I'm sorry because I was looking forward to that, but I'm going back in a few hours.
Okay. It's so good to see you.
He gives him a quick kiss and he shakes hands with Aaron.
It's nice to see you too.
Congratulations on history's longest winning streak.
Well, if you ever get restless in Portland, let me know.
Why?
Tom shuffles uncomfortably. Jane smiling, appreciating Aaron's attitude toward a blandishment of the powerful.
Bye, boss.
Tom walks away.
Hey, Cliff!
Go back to your daddy.
Come on, Cliff, come on. All right, so who's the guy?
Well, we met about 3 months ago. He works at the Surgeon General's office. He loves boating. So he's been getting me into water skiing.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. So, doll, what about you lately?
Well, my wife got this new job.
He continues to talk. As the two former colleagues catch up, their ease returns, if not their intimacy, as the frame locks and the scene slowly recedes into a black background, and we fade out. The end. That is all. Broadcast news.
It's over, finally. 3 hours.
Broadcast news is
It's a long movie.
It's too long.
I'm sure Marc Shaiman is still up right now.
Marc, go to sleep, buddy. Go to sleep.
Marc is doing whippets as we speak, folks.
Well, obviously, a big, enormous thanks to Marc for joining us, and a round of applause for him wherever he. Well, I was going to say wherever he is, but that sounds ominous.
New York City,
in his undisclosed location.
Something that's so weird.
Please, once again, if you have not donated and you feel so inclined to donate, please do. The money's for the Actors Fund tonight. You can do so. I posted the links throughout, and then there'll be a link in the description of the video afterwards as well. Donate whatever you can. We certainly want to support them as much as possible. So I'm going to get through this part as quickly as possible. Clay, what about screen drafts?
Yeah, screen drafts is what is new this week. So in the feed now is Ryan and our friend Luce drafting all the Kelly Reichardt films, and then next week is Rachel Walker and Anam Sayed from the Alamo Draft House drafting best female friends forever movies. The best movies about female best friends. So we just recorded that. That was a blast. So that'll be up next week. And then Billy Ray, you and Drea and Ryan are going to be part of the big Best of 2020 mega draft in a couple of weeks. So that's what's coming up on Screen Drafts.
Yes, 10 people in this read have been on Screen Drafts.
Holy mackerel!
Wow. Out of how many?
Spectacular slate of people.
Yeah, out of 14.
14. Okay.
Yeah. So you can find us on social media at Scripts Gone Wild. If you want to support us on Patreon, you're more than welcome to do so. That's patreon.com/Scripts Gone Wild. You can do stuff like vote on our Finish Your Drink lines and get exclusive videos and other fun stuff like that. Also, buy our merchandise. You can go to our website, scriptsgonewild.com, click on the merch tab. It'll take you where you can get shirts, mugs, all sorts of fun stuff. And it supports us on your chests and in our bank account. And our next read will be back in 2 weeks on the 21st for our reading of Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Very
It's
nice.
going to be a blast. We've got Henry Zabrowski reading Dracula.
Oh, no.
We got
No, I love Henry. That's a great choice. All right.
We got Brian Cogman reading Van Helsing.
Good. This is a great cast.
Our newcomer, Mr. Dave Holmes, is going to be in it as
well.
Yep, it should be a lot of fun. So again, that's on the 21st. So now is the part where I'm going to say everybody make a face or smile because I'm going to take our group snapshot for the sites. I'm going
Nothing like wait until the end.
Count to
Yeah,
three.
everybody's droopy eye.
1, 2, 3. One more time for our amazing group of readers. We have Clarke Wolfe.
Woo!
We have Joey Cramer.
Woo, woo, woo.
Iffy Nwadiwe.
Yes, Iffy.
Alonso Duralde.
Alonso.
Kimmy Shields.
Yay!
Ava Ceja.
Woo.
Rico Anderson.
Go.
Clay Keller.
Woo, 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 woo.
Diamond Dave Schilling.
Aaron.
Yeah, so good.
Delightful Drea Clarke. Karen Aaron LaPlante. I'm going blank on how to do that with Sasha's name. So I'm going to say, no, I can't do it. Sasha, I'm
Let
so
the
sorry.
nickname thing die. It's fine.
Sasha, you killed the nickname thing.
Sasha.
In other
And
words,
finally, Ryan Marker.
Yes. Yes.
Thanks to all
Thank
of you for helping make this happen. Thanks for everybody who tuned in. Thanks